I go live. I go
Go live.
live.
How can you go live?
I gonna go live. I'm also might play some XCOM too while I vote.
Oh, nice.
But we'll see. Most likely. Let me get the links out. Buddy, buddy, boo, 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 boo. Talk about these funny people out there.
It's time to hit refresh.
Who think,
Debate me, bruh.
yeah, who thinks they could just go on the internet and insult people, and that means those people have to come debate them now? Like, what? Such a weird thing. All right, let me post this on Twitter. I'm live now. Are you watching me now?
Yay.
Wanna watch me now? Is that the from UFC?
Oh, yeah.
Come watch me now. Come watch me now. Pop out the shot. Watch you get copyright on that because
Yeah. He's so stupid.
I'm mouthing the UFC music so good they think I'm actually streaming a UFC fight. And I'm like, oh, copyright. All right, so we're streaming. I popped out the chat. There's actual Justice Warrior Shion. Hey, Shion. I'll post this in here so people could come watch. But yeah, so we were talking about. Let me set this up, and then we'll get into what we're talking about. Well, plus, we can give it some time for people to come on. We just watched Sean's video. That was really good about that guy the cop who flipped over that pregnant woman, pit maneuvered the pregnant woman. And they're just crazy.
That was crazy, that one.
That video's crazy. That dude acted way too hastily.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get, goddammit.
I was like, hey, ma'am, can you crawl out of your vehicle? She's like, I'm pregnant. She flipped over in a truck, pregnant and shit. Oh, can you come out of there?
If you weren't speeding, I wouldn't have hit you over, goddammit.
God damn it. But man, yeah, that's crazy. And it's like, there's a thing of like, yeah, you're not pulling over, but it's also she wasn't speeding up as if she was gonna drive away, like.
No. It really didn't seem like that.
No, she was just kind of cruising. So it's like, just let her cruise for a while and follow her and see what's going on.
All the cops chasing scenes that I've ever seen, that's usually what they do. And they go for miles, like the cop chases that happen. That was so...
Yeah, remember those
so
old...
fast action.
Watching those old LA, like, fucking... police chases, and they're like driving 10 miles an hour like down the road for like
they got the helicopter
all the way
on
around
them,
town. They'll hit the highway, get off at another exit. They're going 10 miles per hour in another town. It's like, it takes forever. Now it's like you kind of half pull over and cruise for like 2 seconds, and somebody fucking pit maneuvers you. Like, what the hell? Oh, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to.
I saw your hazard lights, but that wasn't indication enough that you saw me, goddammit. So I had to run you off the road.
Huh. Oh, that's a window capture. Oh, that's not right. I'm messing up. I'm messing up over here. Okay, yeah. The slideshow I don't need right now. Let's do this. So yeah, oh shit, where the fuck am I? I'm in the wrong save. Yeah, this is where I wanted to go. So a lot of funny stuff going on, like this guy from last night making videos, and it's a funny thing I wanted to talk about because it seems like this is like the culture that's been going on for a while on the internet. I know a lot of you guys are younger. I was when I was a kid, there was no internet, so I'm not raised in this internet culture stuff. Like, like I deal, like when I use the internet, I use it like real life. Like I don't act differently on the internet than I do in real life. I don't play like a character on the internet. And I think a lot of people who grew up with the internet since they were a little kid kind of act like that. And there's like a certain culture and a certain way you're supposed to act. And there's a certain way you're supposed to make videos or act if you're a person who makes videos. Like, oh, you're being you're being challenged to debate. Oh, you're a coward if you don't accept it. It's like, what? I gotta accept a debate from any freaking loser that pops up? Like, what happened? There's channels that are way more popular. Do you think Vosh is there accepting any debate that comes his way? I bet there's or Destiny. I bet there's dozens of people daily challenging them to debate, sending them emails or messages like, I want to debate you on this. It's probably happening all the time. They can't accept all those people. Like, it's impossible.
Look at that Hunter guy. He won't have debates with certain people because he feels a certain way about it. For certain people.
Well,
he's
now
not
he won't
just
debate at
taking
all.
things. Yeah. Like he's doing the ask me anything thing now. So rapid fire
my
debates are happening.
Logo stuff at the front of the screen.
Oh
Yeah,
my
there you go.
God. Did you see what Sean?
What is he
Hey.
saying?
That person from his chat is now demanding a debate with him. Challenging a debate with Sean.
Is he? See, that's what I'm saying. And the same thing happened with Sean with that Brenton guy. He goes on Modern Day Debates, debates a dude. Somebody has a question, a super chat question, and they bring up Sean. And what does this dude do? He insults Sean. He starts calling him all these names. Calling him a Nazi, far right, all this fucking crazy shit. No proof of that, just straight up calling him that for no reason. And then a propagandist, remember? Like, what?
Yeah.
And then first acts like, oh, why are you offended? You're not a propagandist? Like, who calls themselves a propagandist? Obviously, that's an insult, right? Nobody calls themselves that. Who calls themselves a white nationalist? Obviously, that's an insult. So it's like these people do the same thing. This guy calling Devin a white nationalist, a pedophile, a rapist. I can do this, insult this person, they get offended. I'm going to act like, what? Why are you offended? And then demand you debate me. You should come on here and debate me. And if you don't, you're a coward. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
You insult me and you think I have to go debate you? And if I don't, I'm a coward? What are you talking about? Like, this isn't real life. Like, think about that in real life. Think about you're at the supermarket and someone comes up to you and calls you a white supremacist. And then you get offended and they said, well, now you have to debate me. What? You know what I'm saying?
Who are you?
You'd look at the guy like he had a dick on his head. Like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, who the hell are you? Where did you even come from? Like, what?
Need attention that bad? You're making
Yeah.
up nonsense about me just to get my attention? Like, come on.
Seriously. But that's what it means, right? Like, oh, you got to come debate me. Ooh, it's so weird.
And you're a coward if you don't.
Oh, yeah, the guy. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let me read what this guy said to Sean, because he challenged him to debate. I like how this video was 5% looking at what happened, 5% crying she was pregnant, as if that matters to the law, 85% some rant that has nothing to do with this, even though everything he did. The whole point, this is not understanding, kind of like an essay format. The video started with Sean saying the video was not specifically about this case. He was using this case as an example of how we view these incidences of police stops, right? Like, that was the whole point. And he used this one as an opposite example to go against the other examples that, BLM and these people have been showing that he reviews. You know what I'm saying? So he's showing like, hey, yeah, this was the example. This is an example of that. So this guy saying 85% of the video was a rant that had nothing to do with the case is his problem. He doesn't understand the video. You know what I'm saying? He thinks he does, but totally does not understand what the video was about, and he thinks it was about that case, but it's not. Sean says at the beginning of the video and gives his, it's kind of like when you write an essay, you have your first paragraph as your topic paragraph, right? And you explain the topic of what you're going to be talking about from then on. Then you go into filling in the other paragraphs, and you have your topic sentence. You make a topic, and then you give the examples to match your the thing. But he's talking about then after the case that Sean chose as an example, he goes on to talk about what his point is and why he was showing that as an example. And this guy didn't get that. Like, he totally just thought Sean was randomly ranting, even though the video started with him saying that that's what he was going to talk about. Shut the fuck up. AJW is one of the biggest bootlickers on YouTube. This case went against his personal politics. What? How did it go against his personal politics? And now he's butthurt at the cop for no reason. Edit, I'm willing to live debate against AJW on this, but AJW won't because he knows he's fucking wrong. Even though he's not even wrong. The guy didn't even understand the video. No. Oh my god. But this is how ridiculous it is. I can show up in your live chat, insult you, pretend I'm debating you somehow on the live chat, you know, like, and argue with you, but, you know, that's okay. And then you have to debate me, even though you're an absolute nobody. Who is this bubblegum guy? Who is he? Like, seriously, bubblegum gun. Who is this guy? Is he even a YouTuber? Like, why? What would be the benefit of Sean debating him? These guys also don't understand that people have time, like valuable time, and it's like I'm supposed to drop everything I do and not edit videos because if you notice, Sean and Devin release videos consistently, so they're almost always. Whatever free time they have, they're working on their next video. They're editing and researching and doing all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, no, don't do any of that. Stop making money. Stop doing your job and stop making money and come to my channel.
Me attention
for my benefit, right? Because say Devin goes on this guy's channel to debate him or argue with him. Whose benefit is that for? Does that help Devin in any way? Like, what does that do for him? Devin's fans are still his fans. They're still paying him. They're not going to pay him. You know, they're going to pay him more to argue with some random dude with like 200 subs. You know, like nobody's going to do that. So it's like it's really a waste of his time. Instead, he can be using that time to work and put a lot of hard work into his videos, as he does. Unlike this dude who puts zero hard work into his videos and actually pays somebody to clip out clips from his streams and make, you know, graphics for him and stuff like that and thumbnails. Like, this guy's putting zero hard work into this and expects somebody who puts, you know, 24/7 work into it and say that, oh yeah, you have to drop everything and come debate me. Like, what? Why? Like, give one good reason why. Well, if you don't, you're a coward. No, I'm not. What else you got? You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say is, no, I'm not. What else?
Yeah, that guy wanting to debate Devin. He hasn't even watched the full content, so he should just like stop while he's.
No, yeah, he didn't even watch the full content. Remember, he kept saying that, oh, this is the only reason that he gives. This is the only. Oh, so this happened this way because he's saying it does, because this is the only evidence. And it's like, dude, you're watching 20 minutes of an hour-long video of a 2-part series that's actually almost 3 hours long.
Yeah,
and
it's not even just one video.
Yeah, and you've watched like 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And you think you've seen it all, and now you want to say he shows no evidence. What? And then he tries to use that as an excuse. He's like, oh, well, granted, maybe I didn't see the rest. It's like, that's not an excuse. That's being hasty. Like, you're hastily condemning a dude. You're hastily calling some guy names over the internet, publicly publicly insulting somebody. For what? For what? For your own benefit? Like, which isn't even really benefiting him. Like, his subs are still garbage. He's not gonna. His content is not good. You know what I'm saying? It's freaking weird, and it's like, why should anybody give up what they're doing? Same thing with that Brenton guy. Like, why should Sean give up what he's doing? Stop making videos and not put any hard work in to come talk to you. Like, why? Like, you said all these things about me, yeah, in a video, and you have the full right to make a video back. You know,
yeah,
you're giving him a lot of free publicity. Oh yeah, why not? Who cares? I don't give a shit if he does well. Dude can get 3,000 subs for all I give a shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about that. I'm not against him doing well.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You have to understand. He does nothing though. He just shows other people's videos and then says like, see,
So
Oh,
y'all
did you
just
hear
sit
that? Did you
here
see
crying
that?
about him. Actually, we're talking about the entire retarded internet culture of debate me, bro. I'm gonna insult you live in public, like this douchebag over here. I'm gonna insult you live in public, make fun of you, and that means you have to drop everything to come debate me. Screw you. I'm not even like, what's funny is this idiot thinks he's an intellectual. So I go on the internet and I analyze debates and this and that, and like I challenge random people that I don't know to debates, and they have to come debate me or they're a coward. Like, this guy's not an intellectual. He's super dumb. Like, he's not smart. We saw the Brett dude go in there and debate him last night, and that Brett guy was running circles around him, on top of Brett not even having to go in there and debate him. That was a waste of Brett's time. You know what I'm saying? It's a waste of anyone's time. That this person is no one to debate. He's not an intellectual. Go ask Sam Harris to debate you. See what happens. Sam Harris is an intellectual. Go ask him to debate you. Go ask an actual intellectual to go debate you. Why are you asking random people on the internet that make entertainment? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Oh, so we're talking about 90% of these intellectual. What intellectual? There's no intellectuals here. Nobody's here claiming to be an intellectual. That's the point. But there's this ridiculous culture on the internet that we're going to debate these topics because we're smart and
we're
that's
the
what
experts.
we do. We're going to get down to the bottom of this. Well, meantime, barely any of these are actually debates. They're actually just people yelling at each other, trying to get attention and be like, come sub to my channel. You know what I'm saying? And trying to be the next Destiny or the next Vosh. I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm a real person. I don't use the internet like the internet. I don't do this internet culture bullshit. I don't need to spend my time debating some random dude on the internet. Like, why? Why would I do that? I have better things to do, I'm on here. I can do this, and people will send me money on Streamlabs. But I go on his channel. Is anybody going to send me money for that? Why would anybody want to see that? Why would anybody care about that? Nobody cares about that. The thing is, this dude wants attention. He wants subs. If you look at it, the videos of him talking about Devin have the most views out of almost all of his videos. That's the whole point, is he's trying to start beef and be ridiculous in order to drum up drama and get attention and have people come over, which is fine. You can have your attention, but guess what? People aren't going to bend over backwards to do what you want them to do. Just because you made a video insulting someone doesn't mean that now they have to come debate you. That's ridiculous. The whole culture does this. I've seen Vosh do this. Like I said, that Brenton guy did that to Sean. He goes on modern day debates and publicly announces that Sean, this guy's a fascist and blah, blah. Oh, that guy? Yeah, I've seen his videos. He's a fascist. Like, what?
Like,
what do you mean?
Like,
you don't know the guy. Like, what? Meanwhile, then Sean tweets out at him and goes, dude, what are you doing? Why are you calling me a fascist on a live stream? Who are you? I don't even know you. And the guy's like, oh, maybe I got you wrong. Sorry. And then demands that Sean debates him. Huh? Like, what? You insulted me live and now I have to come debate you? Screw you. I'm doing nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing anything for you.
Well, he talked to these people, so it's the impression that he's giving off. It's like all these people just have impressions or assumptions of people that have no proof of anything. But
that's what I was saying. Like, this dude,
something to them.
Like this tomfoolery dude who's like, I guess I'm built different. Anybody who challenges me to debate, I do it. Well, that's because you have some insecurity that you have something to prove to people. I don't have anything to prove to people. I'm 42 years old. That's why I said, I guess I'm built different. Come say that shit to my face, because I'm a real person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna play this little internet game with you, like, we're gonna debate because we're faux intellectuals on the internet. We're gonna get down to the bottom of solving these problems. Like, no, you're not gonna solve shit. Which was great that Brett guy said that to him yesterday. He straight up said, bro, I'm not solving these problems. You're not solving these problems. That's just not gonna happen. That's the reality. You playing games on the internet isn't solving any problems. You know what I'm saying? You could debate it till your face turns blue on the internet. You ain't solving any problems. It's not happening. You're basically playing games on the internet. Yes. Oh, look, this is a good one. I don't have time to debate him. I'll spend hours talking about him. You keep making up lies. I spend hours talking about him if I want to, because that's my free time and I enjoy that. Also, this is my channel. People have my Streamlabs up there. They pay me. I'll tell you what, main event. You want me to debate tomfoolery? send me $200 to my Streamlabs right now, and I'll go into his Discord and I'll go debate him on whatever topic he wants. Send me $200. I will debate him for 1 hour.
These things are just a waste of time.
Yeah,
I don't. Oh, you won't debate him.
I don't bend over backwards for strangers,
applies.
right? Like, I'm gonna bend over backwards for strangers who insult my friend on the internet.
Yeah,
like who
what
does that? That's why I'm saying
exactly.
This isn't real life. This is the internet. You guys are playing the internet as if it was real life, but you're playing characters. This main event guy, there's no way this dude would come here and tell me any of this shit to my face and tell me that I have to do these things to my face. So you know what'll happen is I'll make him do shit. You know,
and that Tom guy
that Tom guy come tell me to my face. I told him that. I told him I gave him my full name, where I live, my nationality. You know what I'm saying? He said it on screen. He called me a coward, so I said all these things, and he was like, "Oh, all right, you're not a coward. I get it. You know, you're giving me your whole name. You dox yourself." Because I ain't afraid of none of these motherfuckers. That's why I told him, "Come say that to my face. You want to debate? I'm real life. Come say that to my face, and we'll debate this face to face." You know what I'm saying? Why am I bending over backwards to go to your channel, an absolute stranger who insulted my friend, to do you a favor? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing you any favors. Get out of here.
Wait, Tom admitted that he's lying.
Use my time to do something I don't like to do? I don't even like to debate. So, if you want me to spend my time to do something I don't want to do, you have to pay me for it. You know?
Yeah.
This right here, me streaming and talking and expressing myself, I enjoy this. I do this for fun. This is the only reason I have a YouTube channel, is because it's a hobby. I do it for fun. I'm very inconsistent with it because I only do it when I feel like it and want to enjoy, you know, have a good time talking to my friends and stuff. That's why I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to get attention from big YouTubers. I'm not here to, like, you know, call YouTubers a pedophile or anything, and then when they get mad, come debate me. You know, like, it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. And it's that, like I said, it's this weird internet culture. This does not happen in real life. In real life, someone insults you, that doesn't turn into, now we have to go debate. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It turns either I'm going to punch you in the mouth, or I'm going to tell you off, or I'm going to walk away. You know, like, either one of those three. But what definitely doesn't happen is a debate, you know, on your terms, on the terms of the insulter. Yeah, that doesn't work that way. It's ridiculous to even think that, you know.
And these people keep forgetting that, like, or whoever this main event person is forgetting that Tom admitted that he's the one lying. He thinks that people like Devin are making up things, and that's like what, like, he's running with. He's the one that exposed that. Like, I said that I could call him a rapist, and he would have to debate me to prove that he's not. And he said, exactly, because that's what you people do, and we're not the ones doing that at all. So I really don't know where Tom is, like, getting that nonsense from.
That's not how it's going. Him calling him a rapist was random. There was no reason to call him that. And he says it was a joke, whatever, but you clip out a 3-minute clip out of your 6-hour live stream where, like, 2 hours of it was him going over Devin's video. So he clips out, which he said he didn't do. He says he has an editor, but he says he looks over everything and accepts whether he puts it out or not. You know, so he's got the final say in it. So he saw this 3-minute clip, saw that it was a 3-minute clip taking Devin's 20-minute preview video, taking a small piece of it that had to do with a point Devin made about, let's not pretend 17-year-olds aren't attractive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we understand, we're adults, we understand these kind of topics. Makes a joke about it. This guy just clips that out. So it seems like that's all he's talking about. And then, oh, is this guy a rapist? Is this guy a pedophile? Like, what does that seem like to you? That seems like you just made 3 minutes of shitting on some dude and saying he's a pedophile, you know, and slandering him. He's like, I'm not slandering him. It practically is. Think about that. Like, you know, think about what you did. You put out a 3-minute clip out of this huge thing, you know, and made it seem a certain way. Like,
knew that you didn't have the full context of the video,
and
only just started watching.
And it's obvious that the point of that is to drum up drama and to get attention and to get people to, oh, look at my channel, which is fine. You want to do something and have a successful channel, that's fine, but there's other ways to do it than being a sensationalized, like, garbage fucking person. You know what I'm saying? Why not just put some hard work in and make your own points? Why do you have to do stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, on top of him putting no work into it, you know, He's
Oh my
sitting
God.
there
Yeah.
criticizing Devin, who puts hours of work into each video that he does, and it puts tons of love in it. This is why he's behind a paywall. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk about making money and getting views from the internet. You have a commodity, you have a talent that you're putting out there, and you put hard work and your talent into things, you'll get paid for it. He's behind a paywall.
Yeah.
This is the thing with Cog used to do this. When I used to beef with Cog, he'd be like, Devin's behind a paywall, blah, blah. Like, that's a bad thing. He's like, oh, yeah, well, you're going to put your content behind a paywall. Like, that's some douchey shit to do. Cog wishes people would pay him the amount that Devin gets paid to make videos. Cog
He'll
wishes.
get drunk on stream, though, for money.
Yeah. Instead, what does he do? He takes a shot for every donation people give and gets completely hammered and throws up on himself. You know what I'm saying? No, I did it on purpose.
To do that, meant to do that.
But meanwhile, being behind a paywall is a problem because Devin puts so much work into his videos that he makes a pretty damn good case on why you should pay him to watch his videos. He used to do that when he was on YouTube with the Patreons. He used to make videos saying, listen, I put a lot of work. You guys see me live stream for hours just editing so I can show you guys how much work I put into these videos that you guys enjoy, So you see the work I'm doing. So then when you pay me, this is what you're paying for, all this work and manpower I'm putting into this.
Yeah. And Devin put so much time and effort into his work, like spends so much time, like all day.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of work he puts in there. And then you're gonna say that he doesn't deserve to get paid, like by you to watch his videos.
It's just the same. Like
does.
What?
He definitely deserves to be.
Oh, maybe his sound quality. That was like, no, it's just your sound quality that's bad.
Yeah, sound quality was bad. Damn, all my soldiers I want to send out on this mission are tired. They need sleepies. But yeah, it's a weird culture. We see it a lot. We've seen it with all these debate me bro guys. Remember, Vosh did this to Devin too. Vosh went over a video of Devin, so Devin pops up in his chat. He's like, I see you're going over one of my videos. And this guy's like, why don't you come on here and debate me? Blah, blah, blah. And Devin's like, huh? Like, why am I doing this? So we started fucking with him and be like, yeah, he'll be right there. He's coming. Yeah, he's going to debate you. Watch. Just wait and watch. It's coming.
They believe it, but this guy knows sarcasm. He knows the stuff.
Yeah, he does it. These people are clueless. And it's like...
He took it down because he realized how silly he looked. It wasn't because he didn't expect people to watch it. People watched it and exposed him for being such a dummy about it.
This guy said, yeah, Tom said he didn't actually expect people to see that video and he took it down. The video that he put up with Devin, because that's still up. I just looked at it like 2 seconds ago. It's still up. I'm going to look at it right now. But how are you going to put up a video and then say, I didn't expect people to see it? No, you put it up to drum up drama. And that's what happened. There's no such thing as I put it up and I didn't expect people to see it.
Yeah.
When you put things up and don't expect people to see it, then you put it up unlisted or private. You don't put it out to the public and say, oh, I didn't expect anyone to see it. Or is that how low his self-esteem is for his channel? That I put that out, but I didn't think anyone would see it. Because it's still there. It's still there. It has 128 views, 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Put up 3 days ago. And it's like he didn't really apologize. He kind of accepted that he spoke too soon, but it's not like he really apologized. And then after that, instead of apologizing, he demands that people come debate him. Like, huh? Who are you, bruh? Like, why should I come debate you? I don't understand. Because I have a problem.
Even if that one is gone, the live stream he did with it in there is still there, and he's time-stamped it 3 hours in from 6 hours of doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, bro, it's for real. Like, he barely even talks. He's mostly just watches video, barely talk. I was watching a bit of him analyzing the debate Sean did with Destiny and Riley Grace Rashawn. I think that's her name. And it just wasn't good. He was playing like Tetris. So he was barely even paying attention.
Yeah.
I'm not against people playing games if they're gonna do, go over videos. That's fine. Destiny does that. He does a good job doing it. But if you're not good at it, don't do it. He was like totally playing Tetris, losing concentration, trying to make a point and then not being able to because he's totally concentrated on the game he's playing. Like if you lose your concentration while you're playing games, pause the game, stop playing for a second, finish your point. Yeah. Like, look at me, I'm playing a game and I haven't even started playing it yet because I've been talking this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I started it, then if I feel like I'm not paying that much attention or need too much brain power to talk, then I'd be playing this whole time. Let's see, Tom's been around a long time. He lost thousands of subs and numerous channels a couple months ago. He's just doing debate coaching now and small content for his friends. Yeah, it's not good at
he doesn't even edit his videos. He could edit all that stuff to make it look better, but he doesn't.
He is a rhetoric coach in real life.
Rhetoric coach?
What? Oh my god. They still do Devin, then me in that order. Yeah, except for Brenton. Brenton's the only one that never, I don't think he even knows who Devin is. But usually it is like that, right? Usually somebody makes a video about Devin, and then little while later they make a video about Sean, which is funny. But
he doesn't know how to debate, so like he should just drop all of that and do something entirely different, because he's not a coach of any kind, debating or otherwise.
Oh, there's that Beheller guy. What's up, man? Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing. It's a weird culture that's on the internet that's like, like back, like, I guess I'm old, right? These people would call me a boomer, but I'm old. Like in my day, we didn't challenge each other to debates. We challenged each other to fights and shit, or at least like some sport or something. Like, we didn't challenge each other to debates. That's so weird.
Yeah, we'd laugh at people that said yell at me online.
That's this weird millennial thing they do. Like, and I don't even, like I said, I don't even think any of this is like a real debates. Like, I think leave debates to the intellectuals. Those are the people who actually know what they're talking about. When Sam Harris debates people, he knows what he's talking about. There's plenty of people. Coleman Hughes, he debates people. He knows what he's talking about. It's not like most of these people on the internet they're just normal laymen thinking they're above what they're talking about, Meanwhile, this guy's bitching at Devin, saying that Devin just makes things up, not realizing Devin's a history major. He went to school to study history. And when you study history, you're not just studying the history of the things that happened. You study how to verify things, how to verify something happened, or how to find out what's the most accurate you can get on a situation and stuff like that. So he knows the processes. Devin puts a lot of research into his videos. He doesn't just make them out the blue and just talk. It may seem like it because we call him One Take Tracy, right? But he's been doing this for like 7 years. He doesn't just go on a stream and talk shit about some video. He researches these things and finds out what really happens. What are the stories behind the stories? He finds out how to find reliable sources and stories and first-hand experiences and stuff. That's why I was saying that with
Google, Wikipedia.
That's like where some people were like, where he was like, oh, this guy just makes these things up. Oh, this is his only reason is because, men rape and women are hot. That's terrible. It was like, no, there's more. If you keep watching the video, he goes over newspaper articles from the time. He goes into interviews of people from the time. There's a priest from a nearby town that was interested in what happened and went there to investigate it, and he has a story to tell about it, from the people he interviewed and his experiences of going there and finding out what happened from the people who lived it, from both sides, and trying to get down to the truth. There's all these things you can look up, and this is what you learn when you I remember taking it when you take higher courses in history. I remember they do teach you these things. They teach you what are first-hand sources, second-hand sources, like what's more reliable, how we know things happened, and how we know, and how some things we're not sure about and stuff. So you can get down to the bottom of things and find out what is the most likely thing that happened. And that's pretty much what the video is. But
I wonder if that guy, even with all that information, like explaining how like one finds information to history from the past, he'd still maybe look at that and be like, nah. Oh, you talked to that one guy? Oh my god, that one guy.
Yeah, that's why you're saying, he kept saying you have no evidence, and it was like, what? There's testimonial. Like, what do you mean no evidence? On top of that, the girl was scratched up and her dress was torn. You know what I'm saying? That he tripped and scratched her and tore her thing. Like, what's more likely to you, that happened, or is it more likely that maybe this dude assaulted her, or tried to assault her when she screamed, freaked out, and ran.
Yeah.
Another thing that's funny about this debate me bro internet culture I find is oh man, I'm losing my train of thought on this one. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, how they think everyone's an activist and advocating for something. So in the video where we watched him analyze Devin's video in the long form, and he brings up a bunch of things saying, like, this was his explanation for calling him a white nationalist, was he was saying that Devin advocates for the things he's saying. And I'm like, Devin's not an advocate. What are you talking about? What Devin's making, it's like, these are videos he's making. They're like essays, right? And he's just describing, and if anything, what he's advocating for is looking through the narrative, right? Looking through the story given to you.
Yeah.
So we can take that video he analyzed as an example. It's the Tulsa race riots, right? What Devin is doing in that video is going over modern videos about that event that just came out because it's the 100th anniversary, and all these people are talking about it, right? Multiple shows. The History Channel has one. There's another, company, and all these different companies are coming out with their own little mini docs about this. And they're just giving you cursory information. Oh, we don't know what happened in that elevator. That's a funny way to say that we have a pretty good idea of what happened in that elevator, but hey, chances are maybe it didn't, like that's what they're saying. Yeah. But the truth is, we have a pretty good idea of what happened in that elevator, We have a pretty good idea of what happened after that and the events that transpired. We have pretty good ideas of that. We have pretty good verifiable sources that show what happened during that time and give an explanation of it. So to say that there's no evidence, so that's the point, is saying that he's an advocate. If anything, he's advocating for journalism, basically, for you to research things. In the second video of his Tulsa race riot video, in the second one, he says, don't take it from me, your Uncle Devin. Look at it yourself. Research this yourself.
Yeah.
And what's funny is people think they're good at researching, but they're not. I was watching the stream with this dude, and he says he's going to make a video on this, right? Because he wants to debunk Devin's video, right? Even though he hasn't even seen the whole thing or the whole series. It's a series of documentaries.
Yeah.
He's seen 20 minutes of the first one. That's an hour long. And the second one's an hour and a half long. So basically 2.5 hours. He's seen 20 minutes. He's going to debunk the whole thing now. But I'm looking at him he's saying, yeah, I got all these sources, and he's going through his tabs where he's saving the sources. And one of them is history.com. That's the History Channel. Motherfucking History Channel. The channel that gives you Ancient Aliens. The channel that brings you fucking like 16 seasons of Ancient Aliens. That's his source. That's his freaking source. This is what I'm telling you, that these people don't understand what they're doing. Like, do they even know History Channel's owned by MTV? Which is, they put out propaganda all the time. Comedy Central puts out propaganda all the time. Who's to say, why do you think History Channel's not going to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. History
Channel it's a profitable business. They do, wherever the money goes is where they go. Truth and ethics and ethical journalism and stuff like that is not what their concern is. They don't care about that. What they care about is making money. Whatever they can sensationalize and make money from. Same thing as these entertainment news channels. They all do that too. It's all about sensationalizing and making money. I have a feeling this is not going to go well with this team. But I'm going to go for it. Let's do it. Take my robot with me. And we'll finally start. We're like a whole bunch of time. I don't even know how long into the stream, and I'll finally start this game and do a battle here. Fucking love this game though.
Yeah, this is a cool game.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's very strategic. But yeah, it's really funny. It's funny this is what I say about the expectation. I don't know if it's a form of projection, because maybe they feel this way too, but it seems like it's like a form of like a culture where they think that everybody acts the same way, right? So if I have a YouTube channel and I talk about politics, I'm an advocate. So that means anybody else who has a YouTube channel and they talk about politics, that means they're an advocate. But that's not the case. Some people use their channels as advocacy. Some people use it as entertainment. You know, some people have YouTube channels for different reasons. For instance, I get this a lot because sometimes I like getting into beefs with people on the internet, right? And they'll come to me and they'll tell me, oh, look at your channel. You don't have that many subs. You have that many views. And I'm like, I don't, my channel. He's like, oh, you're not trying to get attention. I'm like, I guess, but my channel's not something I work on like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not very consistent with it. It's a hobby to me. I enjoy doing it from time to time. But if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. And I'll go long periods without making videos or streaming. And then other times I get into the mood and I'm like, look, now today I'm streaming 2 days in a row, you know?
Yeah.
It goes on and off. I do it whenever I feel like, when the wind blows. If you're offline influencing followers in one way or another, you're advocating. No, you're not. First off, no. That's not what advocacy means.
My God.
Learn definitions. You have a serious problem with definitions. Completely off. And then he thinks, oh, but everybody has different definitions. No, that's you. You have a different definition. Everybody else knows what the definition of things are. But no, you're not an advocate. You're an advocate if you want to be an advocate. Like, you're advocating for something. Like I said, if anything, Devin's advocating for looking past the story. That he's a historian, right? He studied history. He's a history major. What he does is he looks for verifiable sources. He looks for the story behind the story. This is how he started with TYT, right? He does a lot of TYT videos. What does he do with these TYT videos? He shows the story behind their story. What they give you is the cursory story, and they leave things out. And, you know, and they don't tell you the entire story, and they try to make it seem, and they try to push a certain narrative of that. If Devin's advocating for anything, what he's advocating for is saying, look past the story, look deeper. He tells you all the time, don't listen to me, go look it up yourself. He's like, this is what I'm doing. You know, like, he's like, all I'm doing is looking it up myself because I know how to, because I'm a historian. I studied this. I studied how to verify sources and how to look behind the story of things and look to see what the real story is. Influencing people is advocating. Oh my God. No, it's not. First off, to advocate, you have to first actively advocate. It's something that's an activity. You have to be doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I go outside in the street and I feel like dancing because I just feel like dancing, so I start dancing, and then other people start dancing, that's not me advocating that people dance on the street. I'm doing what I like to do. You guys do whatever you want to do. Just because I influenced you to do the things I'm doing doesn't mean I'm advocating for that. To advocate, advocation is an active thing. It's not something you can do without wanting to do it. You know what I'm saying? You want to have to influence people. You know, you want that. That's what an advocacy is. You know?
Yeah, Sean gave a good example. Yeah. Hey, Tom, if I saw Michael Jordan at age 6 and wanted to play basketball, I'm influenced by his actions. But that doesn't mean he was advocating for me to play basketball.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect example. Yeah, perfect example. I play guitar. I've been playing guitar since I was 9 years old. Many people influenced me of playing guitar, but they never straight up told me to play guitar. I don't even think they were thinking, I'm going to play guitar so that I influence other people to play guitar. They probably just picked up the guitar and said, I love doing this. I want to do this for a living. You know, like, so they played their guitar for a living. They didn't do it to inspire other people sometimes. Sometimes they just did it because they enjoy it. Like me, I enjoy playing guitar. I barely play guitar for other people. I play for myself because I love playing guitar. It's a hobby of mine. I enjoy doing it. Yeah. I used to be in bands and play around because I enjoyed doing that. But when it would come to like long touring and putting all this work into it, I'd be like, I don't want it to be a job. I just want to play my guitar and have fun, you know, and make music. Like, I don't want it to be a job. So, you know, that's not, but even if somebody saw me and was inspired to play guitar, and influenced by me, I wasn't advocating for them to play guitar, you know. It's just a weird definition. Define advocating. Well, advocating is a promotion of something. Like, you have to actively be promoting an ideal and wanting for that to be actively put into process, right? Like somebody who advocates for a nationalism, for instance, is somebody who is in support and wants to actively participate in informing and maintaining white nations was the right. That was the definition he read yesterday. Remember that part? It said it said developing and maintaining white nations. Devin has never talked about developing or an advocacy for developing or sustaining or maintaining white countries. He's never said that. He's never been like, hey guys, we got to work towards making this, to keep this country white. He's never said that. So this is why we're saying, why are you calling, the definition doesn't match. When we're watching his stream yesterday and he goes, look, here's the definition. I'm in the chat going, yeah, that doesn't match Devin. And then he's saying, yes, it does. How? Saying it doesn't. It doesn't match him at all. You keep saying it does, and then you read the definition, and it doesn't match. And then you're saying, look, he's advocating for this. And he's like, no, he's not. He's just talking facts. And he's not afraid to talk facts. He's not afraid to talk the truth. Statistically, white countries are the best countries to live in. Which, funny, the first time he showed that with the definition, he stopped it right after Devin said that, and he said, see, and then I kept arguing with him, so he shows it again. All right, let's go over this again. He goes over it again, and what happens? He plays it just a little too much longer. And what happens after Devin says that white nations are the best nations in the world, which is true, by the way, Devin says, that with the exception of Japan and South Korea and possibly Singapore, which completely destroys
this whole
Tom's claim.
narrative of Tom.
Yeah, completely destroys it.
Tom, if at AIU, if Devin is trying to convince anyone of anything, it's to do their own individual research of things, to see for themselves if what he's saying is what they agree with or not. He's not forcing anybody to believe things. If anybody's advocating for anything, it's you, Tom. Because you're pushing this for sure, for real, for no reason.
See, this is the problem, is Tom doesn't know who Devin is. So he sees this guy on the internet, watched one video, and he thinks he knows what he's doing. Bro, I've known Devin and been close friends with him, met him in public, hung out with him for years. You know what I'm saying? We talk almost every day. We hang out all the time. I know the dude, that he's not doing what you think he's doing. You think he doesn't want to convince people of certain ideas? You know what he wants to convince people of? The truth. This is why he cuts through the bullshit of narrative-driven bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He cuts through the Young Turks. When they put out bullshit, he cuts through that bullshit and shows you the truth. You know what I'm saying? When the History Channel comes out with a sensationalized documentary about what we used to call the Tulsa race riots, and now all of a sudden, since last year, we start calling it a massacre, and they start changing the narrative of the story that's been told completely different for 100 years, and now suddenly it's being told in a completely different way, he cuts through that bullshit. That's the point. If anything, that's what I'm saying. If anything, if he is advocating anything, it is for you to look through the bullshit. That's what he's advocating for. In the meantime, he's a big fan of Howard Stern, and he went to school for animation and edited commercials and animation and stuff like that. So he's really good at entertaining people. So first and foremost, he's an entertainer. Second most, he's expressing himself on the internet. And third, if he's even advocating anything, it's to cut through the bullshit. And that's it. Yeah. This is the problem where I say that everybody comes on the internet and thinks everybody's on the internet like them. If they're on the internet, I want to be big on the internet. So if they're on the internet, they must want to be big too and must act the same way I do. And they must be advocating like I am, because I'm an activist and I'm on the internet advocating. So he must be too. And
he must be too, yeah.
Yeah, it's not how it is. Sean gives a perfect explanation. Actions intended to influence or promote something equals advocacy. If you're influenced or promoting something inadvertently, you're not an advocate. An advocate is an active thing. You have to actively be advocating. If not, you're not advocating. It doesn't make sense. There's no such thing as passive advocacy.
And your assumption doesn't make it so. Let's just make sure that's clear.
Doesn't understand definitions, where he's talking about white supremacy, white nationalism, and then defines it. The definition he gives has nothing to do with nationalism. You know what I'm saying? Well, originally he kept changing it, because then he would go on the internet and search the definition. See, and I'm like, nope, that one doesn't work. Next, and but originally he was saying, oh well, Devin talks about white people as a community, as a group. So that makes you a white
Okay,
nationalist?
so
That's not what a white nationalist. A white nationalist is somebody who wants to base a nation. This is my description of it. It's not my definition. It's my description
that's my understanding
based on
of
the
it too.
definition, because nationalism has to do with nations. So white nationalist is somebody who wants a nation based on a race, right? So
Yeah.
So when somebody says, "Oh, so black people talk about black people as a community and a race," so that means they're black nationalists, and he's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "No, that's not what it is. A black nationalist wants black people to run the country." You know what I'm saying? They want the nation to be based on the black race. That's what a nationalist is. It's a form of nationalism based on a race. You know what I'm saying? As
Yeah.
opposed to anything else. The same thing. It's almost the same as ethno-nationalism, but ethno-nationalism isn't specific. White nationalism is specifically telling you white people. You know what I'm saying? Where ethno-state or ethno-nationalism is just saying whatever ethnicity, the nation stays that ethnicity. You know, is ran by that ethnicity. So like a Latino ethno-state is, you know, ran by Latinos of any kind, I guess. But it doesn't make sense. Like, these people call people things. They don't understand the definitions of these words, and then they say that everybody else has different definitions. Is like, is that a cop-out? Like, you're saying we all understand the definition. Not only that, we all have a common lexicon. Stop playing this game. Well, my definition. We all know what somebody means when they say white nationalist. We all know that. Even his own audience, people in his own audience were like, every time I look it up, it seems like it's linked to white supremacy. I don't know what you're talking about, Tom. That's what they were telling him. His own people, his own audience was telling him that. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, Tom. Every time I look it up, it says that it's usually attached to white supremacy. So that means, knowing that, that word is commonly used in that way.
I didn't know it's a slur, but I did know it's a slur because of the negative. Like,
I don't mean it in the negative way. What other way is there to say that?
Even though I know there's a negative tone that could follow that, like.
They also don't understand all the history of it and stuff. Like, Devin literally never used to talk about race until other people started talking about race, until people started blaming white people for other racist problems, you know, and then and making a false narrative around it. This is why I say Devin cuts through the bullshit. That's the whole point. He does with the Young Turks when they put out a video and then try to blame white people for something. He cuts through it and says, "Look, this isn't true. They just cut out this part of the information." They did that with many cases. That with the police cases, they do that all the time, and they talk very sensationalized about stuff. They literally, there's another thing he'll show you as patterns, and they literally nitpick stories. There could be a cop shooting an unarmed person one day and the next day, and they'll only cover one. What would be the defining factor of those? That the cop was white and the guy shot was black, right? They don't ever cover it when it's a white person, you know.
You rarely ever hear it when it's a white person.
I remember this from when terrorism was a big problem in the U.S. It's not as much anymore, but when it used to be, I remember them covering it like this. Whenever there was a white terrorist, they would show their face and name, and they said, "This is the man that did it. You know, blah, blah, blah. He killed this many people, blah, blah." And then like an Arabic person or a Muslim person would commit something. Well, we don't want to show their name and face because, you know, we don't want to promote them or, you know, share their idea and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but you realize you're treating these two people different on something that's superficial, right? Like on their skin color, basically. Like, you're not basing it on... You guys are literally making stuff up. This is why I tell you to debate me, because you keep lying and refuse because you want to be able to keep lying. What am I lying about?
What did we make up?
Plus, why should I debate you, bro? You're nobody. I don't know you.
That's the thing that
you're
you
a
keep
stranger
saying to get the attention.
Yeah, like... you're a stranger that insulted my friend on the internet, and now you have to come debate me? No, you know what? You fucked up. You insulted my friend on the internet, so guess what? Now I'm going to spend my time on the internet insulting you and talking about you. And you saying I'm lying, but what I'm doing is actually speaking the truth, and anybody can go and verify it. Your videos are still up. You know what I'm saying? Debate me, bro. I insulted your friend. Debate me. What a ridiculous
you took down
thing.
your clip. You
keep talking about me, and I'm going to continue talking about you because you talked shit about my friend. Too bad. What are you going to do about it? How about that part? How about you want me to debate you?
Yourself.
Pay me. Tell your audience $200. My Streamlabs is on the screen. $200. I'll debate you. I'm giving you a discount. I usually charge $250. Nah, you're a duck boy. Yeah, whatever.
A
What a
duck
douche.
boy?
A duck boy. Yeah,
Autocorrect
you're a
on.
duck boy. You're a duck boy.
Exactly.
Dude,
Nice.
come say
Exactly.
it to my face. Union City, New Jersey, son. Come say it to my face. See what happens. I'll backhand your ass.
Tom, that's all your
Please.
defenses. We're just lying, making
$200.
stuff up, debate me.
$200. Pay me. You want me to do something with my time I don't want to do? Pay me for it. Time is money. $200? All right, I'll be waiting. My Streamlabs. I'm going to cash it out before I go in, too, so you don't take that shit back.
There you go.
Go ahead.
You can link it right there.
There's my link.
And you exposed yourself yesterday
And
for
I'll go-
making up
and
all
I'll
this
go on
stuff
your
just for
channel.
attention, Tom. So,
Yeah.
like, really, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, dude, pay somebody to edit,
You
to
think
clip
that
his video.
Devin does stuff like this, that what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you think is happening here. But you're the only one making up nonsense. I literally said I could
Please.
call you a rapist, and now you have to debate me that you're not a
Yeah.
rapist.
Yeah, what a weirdo.
And you said, yeah, because that's what you guys do. No, I'm just trying to show what nonsense
What
you're
a
doing.
weirdo.
How stupid you're being.
I insult your friend, and that means you have to come debate me. No, that means I could do whatever the fuck I want. This is my channel. I'll talk about you all you
You
want.
haven't even watched Devin's content. You just started watching
Yeah.
his content. You
And
think
he
you
thinks
haven't
he
figured
knows.
out, like, how dumb is that?
This is like those idiots that like debate Sean on criminal justice and don't realize Sean has a criminal justice degree. Like, he knows what he's talking
You
about, bro.
responded to me.
You're a random nobody who thinks he has like expertise in things. You have no expertise. I don't even claim to be a debate person. I don't even claim to be an intellectual. Like, so it's like, why would you want me to go debate you? Like, I don't even debate. You want to debate somebody, debate an intellectual. Like I said before, debate Sam Harris. Why don't you go challenge Sam Harris? Let's see. In fact, why don't you call Sam Harris a racist on the internet and then demand he debate you, and let's see what happens. Let's see if he drops everything to come debate you. You know, that this is the tactic. Like, hey, I get to insult people and then they have to come debate me. What ridiculousness. What a herb.
You're just
money
talking
up front.
nonsense.
For sure, I will go talk to you on your... In fact, I'll give you an entire hour for $200. Send me $200. I'll cash that shit out. I'll do a stream with you for an hour.
Have you got your other channel figured out yet? What was it called? Def Not or something like that. Video essays that you're going to be doing.
It's Def
Is it VR
Not.
streams again? Just VR, right? With you just watching the video, saying nothing. I almost knocked my
watching the
camera
video for a
over,
while.
guys. Sorry.
Meanwhile, I haven't played his video at all today. I don't even think I really mentioned his name. There was somebody in the chat, I think, asking, who the fuck are you guys talking about? And they had no idea. But now he exposed himself, so now that person knows who we're talking about. And on top of that, I also, we weren't just talking about him. We were talking about, in general, this whole culture of, I can insult people on the internet and now they have to debate me. Like I brought up before, this happened to Sean with that Brenton.
Oh, yeah.
Guy calls him a Nazi publicly. And then all of a sudden he demands he has to... And then that other idiot, SJW9000, who did the same thing, right? Says Sean was harassing him and then demands he debates him. If I'm harassing you, why would you want me to debate you? Like, it seems like that's not what's happening. And it seems like you just really want some attention from this. Like, and you're trying to get
you
want to
go and debate someone? Search this channel up.
SJW9000. That guy loves
he
to debate.
is waiting for someone to come in and talk with him. You guys would get along so well. You're going to be best friends, okay? Trust me.
He's perfect for you, dude. Run Namtred on him for $200. I could probably run Namtred on him. And that doesn't even work on me, but I bet it would work on him. 100% it would. He would have no way out of that. But there's not even anything to debate. What's the debate? The definition of white nationalism? He looked at the definition 3 times. Like, he's the one who looked at it, not me. I already knew what it meant. He had to look it up.
One of his audience guys said, search white nationalism. Nationalism are like interchangeable to him for some reason.
No, but even nationalism, I agree. He looked up nationalism. That description still didn't fit Devin. And then you add white to that, and it still doesn't fit Devin. You know what I'm saying? Devin's not advocating for the development and maintainment of a white nation. He's not advocating for that. So it's weird to even say that. Like, Devin never even mentions that.
He watches Devin's previews and Devin editing his videos together to either finish up or work on something, and you've got him figured out. Like, you need to just sit down.
What's funny, Devin's not even anti-immigration. You know what I'm saying? He's a Democrat. He's an immigrant. His parents were immigrants themselves. You know what I'm saying? He's not anti-immigration. How can you be? I mean, his parents are still white, so I mean, it doesn't count as that. But how can he be a white a white nationalist
Yeah, yeah.
that isn't against people of different colors and ethnicities coming to the U.S.? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's the funny
Hopefully
thing.
he's used the AIU code for censored.tv.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. Then we can get paid. It's like, people aren't here for you. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking weird. That's how they act. It's like a weird sense of entitlement. Like, I get to insult you, and now you have to do whatever I say, and, you know, I challenge you. Like, I'm not insecure, bro. I don't care if you challenge me. Like, I don't lose anything from not accepting your challenge.
And all you're going by, Tom, is assumptions. Oh, sorry. Go ahead if you want to read his thing.
I said, I didn't say I've got him figured out. I respond to what he says one point at a time. The problem is, you're not in a debate with him. His videos are not made in a debate format. So when you respond to each point, you're not realizing that this is an essay. And sometimes he makes points at the beginning that he's not going to show you examples of till later, because it's entertainment. It's a documentary. It isn't a debate. When you do debates and you say, oh, I'm going to respond to one point at a time. Yes, I understand that. That's a debate. We do that. It makes it easier in debates because they're live and you don't have time to stop and go through each point if somebody gives you 16 points at one time. Totally get that. That's Vosh's tactic, right? I'm going to give you a whole bunch of things at once, and then you have to try to figure out which ones you're going to argue, you know, instead of just saying, give me one. But yeah, like Sean does the same thing. Like Sean said, there's a setup and there's a payoff. This is entertainment first and foremost. He gets paid for this. You know what I'm saying? He's behind a paywall for a reason. He wasn't behind a paywall the whole time. He's behind a paywall because he makes entertainment and works hard at editing this entertainment and works at this. Unlike you, who just streams and eats on your stream, watching it and barely reacting to shit. He's spending hours on filming content and making things visually appealing, audibly appealing, making sure he has all his facts right, you know what I'm saying, before he puts it out. You watch a video, you see him say a couple things, you're like, this is the only proof he has of this. You haven't seen the whole thing, bro.
Yeah.
That video itself was a 20-minute preview to an hour part 1. Then there's a part 2 that's an hour and a half long. You know, it's a lot of stuff, man. You can't just go, you have to, you do go point by point with certain things, right? And I understand when you're doing it a live stream, you could do that. But when you mess up and realize a point's given later, you got to go back and say something. And then you don't just cut out the parts. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't just cut out the part to say, pay Gavin McInnes for, okay. Gavin McInnes gave him a place to charge people. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you give Gavin a cut of that? He's the one running the business. Of course you'd give him a cut.
Like,
Tom is a communist. He might be. I don't know if he's a communist. I don't care if he's a communist anymore. You didn't even understand.
Assumptions are just things that are accepted as true.
Yeah.
To us, like, or certain to happen, and they don't have any proof. And usually, when somebody has an assumption like that, it would be, especially with like someone like Devin or anybody that you're thinking this way, go to the source, hear people out, and maybe you're wrong about that assumption that you're having. You don't then run with that assumption, like doubling, tripling down. That doesn't make any sense.
But that's the thing. See, Devin does this live sometimes, and when he reacts, he goes point by point. But sometimes he realizes the point made earlier is different, so then he'll say, oh, no, okay, never mind that. But most of the times, Devin makes videos and edits long-form videos. So he has the time to mess up and go, oh, let me erase that. That wasn't the point they were making. Now I see what the point is. Let me, make the actual response to it. I never said what part. What did we say he said? Was I even talking about something he said?
Yeah. What is he
was I talking about? What
lying about? You don't make assumptions about AIU and the content that you've seen, which is only previews and him editing.
Oh, yeah. He totally
That's literally
did.
What you're doing.
Literally what he was doing was...
You want people to debate you about assumptions.
Making assumptions hastily. He was watching him say one thing and go, oh, this guy's this. He literally wrote in the description that he was a white nationalist. What caused him to think he was a white nationalist?
Yeah, this is
because
what it was.
somebody talks about white race, that means you're a white nationalist? Why can't we talk about races? Like, what?
This guy, Tom, has white nationalists in his community, apparently. So he knows
Hey,
who is nationalist. I think I'm breaking up. Sorry.
Yeah, you are breaking.
Let me restart.
Sassafras, if you can't take any of us seriously, why are you here? Go away then. Nobody asked you to be here. Like, I'm not asking you to take me seriously. I don't care if you take me seriously or not. Who are you? Like, who are you? Why should I care whether you take me seriously or not? Like, well, literally, why should I care?
Yeah, like no one's forcing you to be here.
This is what I'm telling Tom. You insult my friend. You're a random nobody. Why should I care to go debate you? No, I want you to debate me about your lies. What lies?
But what lies, Tom?
What lies? What lies? Tell me what lies. I've already said I'll go back and watch the full video and respond to it. Yeah, you say things. Saying things don't matter. You still have that clip up. You haven't apologized for it. You haven't done anything. Like, you just sit there and watch videos and do the same shit. Like,
and you did go back and you said that it's a joke as your excuse. So I'm just waiting for you to say all this is just a joke, because your content is a comedy channel, apparently, isn't it? I thought that's what you're marketing yourself as.
Calling people white nationalists, and then he doesn't even know what it means. Like, and then he has to look it up, and then when he looks it up, it's complete different than what he's saying. It isn't just people who talk about white people. That means It's like, that's all Devin said in that clip, was acknowledging a statistical fact. I took it down live last night.
Yeah, but you still have your 6 hour nothing up of it timestamped 3 hours in, dummy.
That's bullshit, because somebody just told me that in here a little while ago, right? And I looked, and it was still there, not too long ago. So, what did he just take it down now? And he's saying he took it down, or I took it down, blah blah. Let me see.
No, I think he did.
Then how come when I looked it up earlier, it was still there? It's still there now. What are you talking about?
I see it down, but I see the 6 hour one where you can timestamp it.
Yeah.
Where he timestamped it 3 hours in or something like that.
No, it's just unlisted, but for some reason it still shows for me. How come it still shows for me? That's weird. Now. Yeah, that's weird. Why can I still see it? Look, I'll show you right now. Let me window capture. Let me block this out.
Oh, and he took out the description of it, but it's 3 hours in.
Oh, no, but still, let me leave the 3-minute clip of cutting him out and taking him out of context and calling him a rapist.
Yeah, I can see you, Devin, thing in there right now.
Keep that. Yeah, that's all.
Here it is. Here.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, well, he's saying that's what happened. Okay, I thought he meant he took down the video completely.
Yeah, you just made it hard for people, a little difficult, but people know what to look for when they're what they're looking for. Come on. There.
It's ridiculous. I'm gonna insult you, and now you have to come debate me. Like, how ridiculous is this? It's the same thing that Brenton guy pulled off. Surfs does this shit. Vosh does this shit. They go and insult people, and then demand that they bend over backwards to appease them. Like, hey, I insulted you. Now you have to come do what I want you to do, and come be my content. Like, no, you're my content. How about that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not your content. You're my content.
Talking with you on that rebranding stream just a night ago, Tom, you literally were saying this is just supposed to be a satirical kind of channel where you do little comedy bits and make fun of things that people say and blow things out of proportion. That's literally what she said. So the only one lying here is you. But you can keep on trying to pretend like you didn't say that, because I guess I'll just wait till that video is also unlisted or something.
No, it's a weird like internet culture thing. I'm too old for this. Like, I don't get these kids these days. Yeah, I don't know how old this dude is, but it's really goofy to me to think that you can insult somebody and then it's like, hey, come debate me, and then demand it and be like, you're a coward for not debating me. Like, what? Who are you? Like, why should I come debate you? I don't know you, man. I don't owe you anything. Like, who the fuck are you? Go make your videos. Go make content on me if you want. I don't give a shit. Like, it doesn't bother me any. I'm not going to come jumping into your channel and go, debate me, bro. Because you know why? I don't give a shit about debating you. You're not like somebody who's important in any way to debate, or do you have any points that to me seem like are interesting to debate? Like, what is there to debate? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's interesting to this guy? I bet he doesn't even know. He doesn't know anything about me. So how is he going to debate me? Like, he doesn't know what my ideas are. Just like, oh yeah, like, what is there to even debate on? Some channels use
like,
comedy as
you
a
don't understand a Mario Party reference. You understand like satire or sarcasm or anything. Like, oh my gosh.
Does he keep talking to me? Yeah. So? Huh? I don't understand what that even means. Like, what does that even mean? Look at him use his little emojis like a millennial. He's such a kid.
Go work on Death Knot with that
go
rope in the ears and whatever that was.
Go work on Death Knot. But he also doesn't understand the concept that me talking on my own stream is something I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm entertaining myself doing this right now. The reason I don't go and debate him is because I don't like debating. I don't debate. I've been in debates, but I don't really debate. What is there to debate about? I find debating on the internet mostly to be useless. The best thing I see about debating on the internet.
Do you see what he just commented? No, I'm sorry.
The lies you keep
making up. I'm not insulting people and then demanding they debate me. That never happened.
Never happened.
You may not feel as if calling someone a white nationalist is a slur, but that is definitely insulting someone.
Wow, that is the whole purpose of how he even got attention. That's the whole reason of how this even started, was because he insults my friend and then demands people debate him. Huh? Act surprised. What? Why? You guys are being oddly defensive. What? Why is white nationalist defensive? What? Dude, I live in an 80% Hispanic city. I love my city. I grew up here. I love it. How am I a white nationalist of all people? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, last night I saw that he thinks Canadians are racist. So, like, this is who this guy is. Yeah,
this is ridiculous. That's insulting to Canadians. Now, I'm gonna guess he's gonna want to debate Canada now because he insulted Canadians.
I mean,
okay, then just have a conversation. I don't care about debate. I want you to justify any of your random claims. No, go watch your videos and you'll see.
We can watch your videos, but that's a waste of time.
Canada is racist.
Hey, what's up, Shane?
Oh,
stop,
hey, Shane.
Stop vaping, man. Vaping your brains out.
Why you dodging me, Alpha?
Yeah. Here, I'll back up my claim right now. Did you or did you not call Devin a white nationalist in the description of your video? I'm not even going to wait for an answer. We know he did.
Yeah.
We all saw
Just
it.
because the content isn't up there doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how could it be a white nationalist when he's not even a nationalist? Like, you can take white out of that and he's not even that, you know? It's so weird. Like, dude doesn't even live in the U.S. Like, you know, he's a first-generation American too. On top of that,
but he just found that out today. Now, if he didn't know that before,
we're old school Democrats. What old school Democrats were white nationalists? You know, like, how does that make sense? Bill Clinton's a white
basically
nationalist.
90s Democrats.
Yeah, Obama was a white nationalist. Like, huh? How does that work? It doesn't make any sense, you know. I know people find the phrase, that's you not understanding what white nationalist means. That's not our problem. That's your problem.
Because you don't find it offensive doesn't mean it's not offensive, Tom. I don't know how you can, like, not understand that.
You not understanding the definitions of phrases is not our problem. That's your problem. If I use a phrase and I mistakenly and I don't understand the meaning of it and I call someone that and they're offended by it and almost everyone agrees that it's offensive to call someone that. Almost everyone agrees. Your own audience was telling you. Sassafras was telling you. No, white nationalists are attached to white supremacy. Sassafras was telling you that in your own stream. she agrees with us on
But-
that. That white
Well,
nationalists.
she's going
attached
to
white
end up
supremacy.
agreeing with Tom because she's like,
You know what I mean, and pretend I mean
understand.
something else. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. You are using. Look, at first you were using the wrong definition. Then you looked it up and went to that definition, but still doubled down and said Devin fits this definition, which wasn't the definition you said originally. And Devin doesn't fit any of those definitions. This was the point. I was in the chat and I said, and you said, look, let's go over these one by one. I said, okay. You went over the first definition. I said, doesn't fit Devin. What do you got next? You went over a second one. That one doesn't fit him either. What do you got next? By your own looking up of the definitions and showing them on stream and you agreeing that those are the definitions, you're proving that you're calling him that out of definition, even out of your own definition. Nothing you showed was showing Devin promoting or even talking about in any way maintaining and developing white nations. That was your definition that you looked up. The first definition you looked up said that. Then you went to a second definition that had white supremacy as part of it. We went over that. That's not fitting. Where else are you going? What other definition you got? Because so far every definition you've given doesn't fit. And you've given multiple definitions. I'll take all those definitions. None of those fit.
and now it's just doubling down to get
now it's
a
just to
debate to
double down on it.
happen, which is ridiculous.
Exactly. That's exactly
And
what
I
it is.
really don't even know if Gavin McGinnis is a white nationalist or not.
I don't know either. I
only
don't know that
watch
much about
Devin's
Gavin.
content.
Nor do I
on
care.
Center TV. Yeah,
I don't find
like I
that,
just
you know,
watched.
I'm not a fan of
That's right.
Gavin's. I don't really watch him, so I don't know. I don't really care.
But like the Proud Boys have other people of different races in their community, so I don't even know what this other Christopher Woodmore is saying.
I
Because
think the
like,
Proud
why do they
Boys
have a
leader is
person of color that's
Hispanic.
their leader?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's the narrative. I don't care. Honestly, I could give two shits. I don't care. I'm not a Proud Boy, so why should I care? You know, I don't care. Gavin runs a website that gave my friend a chance to make money off of the business he does.
Oh, now it's
So
a conversation.
That's what he does.
But you see, you guys are still
Screw a
advocating for
debate,
this
a
stuff because you're the
conversation. I
ones
just want you to
pushing all
take-
this stuff. How sure you guys are with what the things you say or accuse people of. It's just like, this is what somebody that would be advocating would be doing. I don't hear someone like Devin doing that stuff.
If you have a problem with the debate, are you still? Let me check my Streamlabs. Did $200 come through? I don't see it.
Oh, let me see. Hang on.
I don't see it. No, I don't think so. I don't see any donations on my Streamlabs. I want to cash it out into my
Alf, Sean told me I have to pay your fee to debate.
Yeah.
Debate
You
me.
know how it is. You know how it is, man.
No, there's still just one there.
If
I
you
don't
want
see
me to do something I don't want to do, you gotta pay me for it.
It sounds
I
like
don't work-
two-legged supremacy.
Yeah. I'm too old in my life to do things I don't want to do for free. Way too old in my life for that. I don't even touch it.
We
Anything
can
I
still
do
talk about
is
you
for
and
my
not
benefit.
have you present. But
Yeah.
you kind of are present because you're in the chat.
Anything I do is for my
Doesn't
own
matter.
benefit. So you guys watch me pull up 3 different definitions on the top 3 options. Yes, and you still disagree? People have different. No.
You look at all those definitions and still
God.
come to, therefore, he's a white nationalist. Like
The
you-
argument, no, but that's not even the argument. He said that. I agree there are different definitions of people, but we all know what we mean in common lexicon when we say it. On top of that, Devin does not fit. My point wasn't that there isn't different definitions. My point is that Devin does not fit any of those definitions. None of them. No definition you gave fit Devin. None. You gave multiple definitions. You gave your own. That didn't fit Devin. You gave one from Wikipedia. That didn't fit. You gave one from a dictionary. That didn't fit. What else you got, bro? How many definitions are you gonna pop out for me to tell you that they don't fit?
Devin's lived in non-English speaking countries before. Why would
Yeah.
you go to those places
Yeah, what?
if he's like a white nationalist?
lived in
and
Brazil.
That's important to
What are you
him.
talking about, dude? Dude lived in Brazil. Like he's a white
Why would he live
nationalist.
there if?
but he lived in Brazil? Like, huh?
You don't know how wrong you are. You're just embarrassing yourself. You don't even realize how. What did you call yourself
literally
last night?
said
The
it himself,
lolcow?
yes.
Like, that's what you are, or
I
something like that.
promise
or the
you.
Coomer.
I promise you, and I promise everyone in the chat, you will never find a video of Devin saying he is a white nationalist. You know why?
And if
because
he did,
he's not
it's
a white
sarcasm.
nationalist. A white nationalist would not live in countries that were not white nations. That doesn't make any sense. There was no reason. He wasn't forced to live in Brazil. He chose to. He said, I want to go live in Brazil, a non-white nation. I want to go live there. And he lived there for a while. He loved it. He wants to go back. He's lived there twice, actually, and he wants to go back. Yeah, he talks about how he misses it all the time. He wants to go back. He loves Brazil, a non-white nation. God, it's so ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says it himself. He doesn't say it himself. He never says that. What you show is a clip of him talking about the statistical truth that white nations are the best nations. On top of that, it completely slam dunks you when you continue that clip playing, and Devin literally says that there are nations better than white nations that are not white. When he mentions Japan and Korea, and then says maybe even Singapore. You know what I'm saying? These are not white nations. See, you're conflating white How? When did I say racist? What?
He didn't, though. Like,
no,
by your definition, you're a white nationalist too, Tom. Like,
he did not define white nationalist. You do not understand. You have horrible comprehension. This is what Devin did, and I'm going to explain it to everybody who's listening right now. Devin watches this guy's video. He sees that he calls him a white nationalist. He's like, a white nationalist? Why? You know, why am I a white nationalist? He's like, because I talk about this and that? That's why? He's not defining white nationalist there. He's saying, you're an idiot for calling me a white nationalist because I talk about the white race. You're an idiot for that. That's what he's saying to you. Literally what he's saying is you thinking that what me being real about race and being honest and truthful about it and talking about the facts of race, you thinking that makes me a white nationalist is you being stupid. That's what he's saying when he said that. He wasn't defining white nationalism. What he was saying is why? Because I'm doing this. That's why you're calling me a white nationalist. That's what he's saying. Not that what is the definition of it. That's the ridiculousness of this part. Like, that's what he doesn't understand. I mean, we can watch it right now. I can show you. We can go over it. Watch it. Yeah, hold on. I'm not even playing this game. This is fun. Now you're lying. He didn't say that. He said, you think I'm going to back down from the label? No. All right.
Oh, my God.
No, you think I'm going to back down because you label me a white nationalist. Oh, my God. See, this is what I'm talking about.
How does he not understand that?
This is what I'm talking about comprehension. He has terrible comprehension. Horrific. Like,
it's literally like people like Tom is what he's referring to with that word, with that comment for sure. Like,
insane that Devin is describing. This guy's called me a white nationalist because I do this and that, and this guy's taking that as he's defining it and saying, "Oh yeah, he's a white nationalist." That's what he's saying. So ridiculous.
Did you use the code AIU, Tom, to watch the full content?
Yeah, make sure Devin gets your money, because screw Gavin, right?
Because, like, it's really going to be pathetic if you keep doing
take
this.
It easy.
Later, man.
Later, Shane.
Let me see. Where was this? This wasn't it. I think I downloaded it, but this ain't it.
I do this stuff for a living for corporations. I'm a rhetorical consultant. Oh my God, get a better job. Get a better job.
He does what for a living?
Apparently he does what he does for a corporation. And he's a rhetorical consultant.
What is that even? Who cares?
What is that? Are you a life coach? Is that what you're calling yourself? That's why you're calling yourself a debate coach?
Yes, it sounds like,
just a life coach.
That sounds like total bullshit.
You'll probably get your. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you what might happen if you do that, but go right ahead. Go right ahead. Let him figure out the hard way what'll happen. He's too touched in the head to understand.
Yeah, it's so weird. People act weird, man. People are total weirdos. The internet is so strange with these people.
Let me play this content that I have to pay for on stream. What'll happen?
I didn't insult your friend. I just called him a white nationalist. What? How ridiculous of a notion is that? Imagine that, man. Like,
Everything
wow.
they say about it is a pure.
I couldn't even fathom that. Like, demanding someone debate me after I insult them, and then say it's not insulting to call them a white nationalist. That's ridiculous. I've never heard anyone say that. You know that, right? Like, it's so odd that I've never heard anybody say that before. In fact, the vast majority of time I've heard anybody call anyone a white nationalist was as a slur. Like, you fucking white nationalist. Oh, this guy's a white nationalist, you know? And to say, oh, I didn't mean it like that.
Just plain...
What do you mean you didn't mean it like that? Whether you meant it like that or not, that's how it's meant. Like, maybe you don't know that. Like, maybe you don't live in real life. Like,
even he knows that.
Yeah.
He admitted
His
that.
audience
He
knows
knows
that.
that. No, it could be taken as a slur or negatively, but he's going to say it anyway.
He even said he thinks it's a bad idea,
because he doesn't
and
mean
then
that
went
way,
on
and he
to
doesn't
describe.
See it as a slur, so it's okay.
He even said, "I don't agree with it because it's a bad idea. I think it leads to bad outcomes." Which is weird because Devin isn't advocating for any outcomes. Like, he's not advocating for anything that there's outcomes to come out of it. But he says it leads to bad outcomes. And then he goes into describe racism, remember? Like, after that, even though he's saying it has nothing to do with racism, but then goes and still describes racism. And then describes it almost the same by saying, I think it leads to bad outcomes. And it's like, okay, they both lead to bad outcomes, but you don't see one as being a bad thing, yet you see the other as being a bad thing. Like, huh? First off, Devin would probably agree with you that both of those lead to bad outcomes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
100%. Devin would probably agree with him about that. Like, I don't see why he wouldn't. Like, that sounds like something Devin would say, that there would be bad outcomes.
There's a much better way to ask questions than making such ridiculous assumptions about things. Like, you don't have to make such outrageous accusations about somebody to get attention. I really don't understand this type of tactic or whatever it's called.
I didn't want to play it from there, but I might have to look for it over here.
Again, I admitted I know people will take that insulting, and I don't want him to debate me because I insulted him. You keep saying saying the opposite of what
I'm not
I said.
saying, nope, that's not what I said. There you go. Another time he made up something. I never said that was, you want to debate him because you insulted him. No, I'm saying that's what you did. You insulted him, and now you expect him to debate you. Now, he's definitely not going to debate you. There's actually the opposite happened from that. If you spoke to him nicely and said, hey man, I'm a YouTuber and I was wondering if you could come on my channel and we could discuss some of your topics that, you know, blah, blah, blah. He might have done that. He's done that for smaller channels before. He's done that many times. You know, you can find probably a couple of interviews with him on YouTube. But to insult someone and then expect that they're going to debate you, or anyone's going to debate you after insulting someone, and then saying, oh, if you don't debate me, you're a coward. No, you insulted somebody. Now you don't get that. You don't get to make demands. You don't get to say, if you don't debate me, you're a coward. You don't get to do that. Like, that has zero effect now, you know?
Proved my point, guys.
Zero effect.
That's it. Like, come on.
Zero effect. I gotta do it from his channel, because I think that video got taken down from Devin's. Probably copyright shit. Let's see. Oh my god, but these things are so long. How are we gonna find this?
Oh, his talking about it?
I think he banned me too, so I'm not gonna be, because he could probably see it from me being in the chat. So I think his person banned me, so I'm not gonna be able to find it that way. Not that I care. I don't give a shit if he bans me.
I think they just timed us out, because I was still able to talk in there later on, but they just kept timing me out.
Is it in this one? What is? Or is it under one that you call? I don't remember if it was under this one, the white nationalist one. Rebranding and white nationalism, or was it the one from last night? Right? Was the one where he tried to do the video? Yeah, that was last night.
Yeah, the one from last night.
Yeah. Dum dum, dum dum, dum dum, dum dum, dum dum dum, dum dum dum, dum dum dum. No, I think they did ban me because I don't see myself in the chat, which is fine. Oh no, there I am. Boom, wrecked. Yeah, here's the part where I told him in the chat he got wrecked. I was like, boom, wrecked. All right, hold on. Where is it?
Come debate me on it. I don't
That's
believe
what I'm
that
telling you. None of those definitions fit. I
Not
kept
for a
telling him
second.
that, and he kept changing
I've
the argument on
never
me.
thought somebody was wrong, them challenge me to a debate, and me refuse
I've never
to
had
do
anybody
it.
tell me I'm wrong, challenge me to a
That's
debate, and then
never
refuse to
happened in
do
my
it.
life.
You,
I,
nobody's ever
I
refused
don't know.
you in
I
a
guess I'm
debate.
just built differently. I don't
100%
know.
disbelieve
I guess
that.
that's just, some of
I
us
think
are
you
raised
haven't challenged
different.
many people to debates. If you've never been turned down for a debate, you haven't challenged many people, because I'm sure many people would turn you down.
Were wrong. When did you already agreed with my definition? What do you mean you proved I was
oh
wrong?
my god,
I
it
just
wasn't. This is the
played
part I was
him
like, oh my
saying
god,
that
it's
he
not
was a
about
white
the
nationalist. I
definition, bro.
literally just
Whatever
played
definition.
him saying it.
You do it. Oh, here.
By
here.
your definition that you put in the chat as well. Like,
Can you guys hear
I
it?
already
Yeah, right?
proved it.
Oh, I think I'm behind on the video.
Yeah, you're not.
I
Gonna
never-
be able to. Let me pause. Hold on. Let me get it on the screen.
Hmm?
I wasn't gonna screen share, but here we go. He's gonna have. We gonna do it. Huh? It's not working. I'm not seeing it. The Tomfoolery Show. Oh no, here it is. Is that the wrong one? Huh? Not seeing it.
No, I see it.
Capture. This is my slideshow. Nope, nothing comes up. Alright, well. Oh, you know what? Let me delete it and try again. Delete window capture. Might be an issue going on because of my video capture card. But if not, we can hear it, so we don't literally need to see the videos. I don't mean it as an insult. So funny.
Like, I know it can be taken that way, but I don't mean it that way.
That's so strange. There you go. Fit the screen. Actually, let's stretch the screen. A nice little thing here. Tomfoolery Show. Everybody check out the Tomfoolery Show. Go make fun of him if you want. Because I don't think you're going to take him seriously. But, you know, go check him out. I'm not against him having a bigger channel. I'm not against him doing well. Go for it.
Set your expectations low.
I just think if you're going to make videos insulting people, then I get to make videos, you know, as well.
Cooper said he needs to debate me about being a rapist. Again, that's a joke. I don't think you guys understand sarcasm. Listen, there's a spectrum, and some people are worse than others. Understanding like facial signals and things like that. Wow. None of those definitions fit Devin, dude.
Yeah, none of those definitions fit him. Exactly.
Oh my
Doof.
goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, we'll do this one more time. Okay? We'll do this one more time.
Oh, this is the part where I'm like, all right, one at a time. Let's do it.
All right, I want you guys to take notes real quick, okay? There's about a 5-second difference between me saying the definition and
here I am in the chat saying yes,
and
one at a
AI
time.
saying it
Go.
himself. I don't want you guys to forget it within those 5 seconds, so try to keep up. Okay?
Remember this part. Hold on, before he does this, because I'm gonna read it out for you guys first. White nationalism is a type of nationalism. Let's not forget that part. Or pan-nationalism. Let's not forget that part. Devin's not even a nationalist. Which espouses the belief that white people are a race, which is science. Like everybody, well, even if it's not science, we all know what we're talking about when we say white people as a race. Other groups of people call white people a race. Black people call white people, oh, white people, they separate themselves from white people. Hispanics, even though some of them are literally of the white race, separate themselves from the white race. We know what we're talking about. When Devin says white people, we know what we're talking about. This isn't when he's saying white people, he's literally under the belief that white people are a different race. They're a race. Like, he's not saying that. When he says white people, this is a response to people saying, here's a good example. There was a time back in the day, Devin made videos. Devin has popularized many phrases on the internet that people use and many names that people call people on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
TYT has Cenk-Uygur. As you know, Devin's covered Cenk-Uygur for 5-6 years. If you've ever heard anybody call Cenk-Uygur the fat brown buffalo, this comes from Devin. Devin invented this. He used to sell shirts of this. Devin invented this phrase. Other people make videos about Cenk and people tell them, hey, look, it's the fat brown buffalo. Have no idea what they're talking about. You know, and it's like, yo, that's a Devin thing. Now, there was a point years after Devin's been calling him this. Years later, Cenk catches wind of this. People start calling him this enough that he catches notice that large amounts of people are starting to call him the fat brown buffalo. He analyzes this thing. He analyzes this insult, and he thinks the insult is the brown part, which is retarded. The insult is the buffalo part. He's calling you an animal, bro. You're a buffalo because you're fat. The brown doesn't even matter. The brown is there because Cenk-Uygur calls white people white people. That's why that's there. So Cenk, if he does not find calling white people to be insulting, it's okay for me to call you a white person. You understand what I'm saying. You know it's not insulting for me to say you're a white person. That's what Cenk is saying every time he calls somebody a white person. So to then hear himself be referred to as brown and take offense is hypocrisy. Correct? This is an example of showing how when we say white people, we know what we're talking about. When we say brown people, we know what we're talking about. We're not saying brown people are literally a race. You know what I'm saying? But we know what we're talking about when we say brown people. That's why we say people of color. People of color is not a race. There's multiple races inside of the blanket of people of color, right? We know what we mean when we say these words. So when he talks about white people, he's not literally saying white people are a race. In fact, Devin's made countless videos talking about he's lived in Europe. His parents are European. He talks about how Europeans have a different view of this. They're not so focused on white people, black people. They're more about culture. So to them, instead of thinking French and Italian people, instead of thinking we're both white people, what they think is you're French, I'm Italian. You know what I'm saying? They don't see it like that. This is why when Italians and Irish people first came over here, they weren't viewed the same as the regular, the British or the white English Americans that were here. They weren't seen the same. You know why?
White
Because
people don't get along all over the world.
Oh, I'm streaming, Gangle, so you know.
Oh, sorry.
Just so you know, you can stay if you want, and you can be part of it if you want. I don't mind. But white people don't look at things that way. You know what I'm saying? In Europe, that's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? They don't see each other as one race. They see each other as a different tribes of people. Polish people are not Germans. You know what I'm saying? They're completely different people. And on top of that, if you want to go to extremes of those and go to like the southern part and go with Italians and then go to a northern part like Moldova, you're going to get completely different types of white people. They look different. They're different shades of white. You know what I'm saying? They have completely different cultures. They don't know each other. They can talk and they're not like, they don't get along just because of their skin color. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We understand these concepts. Devin's made videos about this, understand these concepts. So already that's wrong too. And then it says, and seeks to develop and maintain, this is a part, again, he's leaving this out completely, seeks to develop and maintain a white, racial, and national identity. These are not things that Devin espouses. I've never heard him espouse this. I've watched Devin from when he first started his channel 7-8 years ago. Never have I heard Devin espouse development and maintainment of nations based on race or national identity, or race being based and national identity being based on the same thing. What he does talk about is when people bitch about that and call it racist when white people do it, but they never say anything about people who aren't white doing it, right? All white nations, if you think about white nations and Western white nations in general, they're all expected to take in immigrants of different colors and be accepting of which. And white nations are the most accepting countries of different cultures and of different racial backgrounds and stuff, ethnic backgrounds. Most accepting of that. Even other countries that are rated high, like Japan and South Korea, they're not accepting of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying their success is because they don't accept culture. I'm a proponent of that. I like that people take in immigration and bring different cultures into country. I like that. I'm actually for it. This is how I'm even here. This is how I even exist, is because my father came here from the Dominican Republic and my mother came here from Peru, and they both met here and were able to have a child that would have never existed in the first place, because Peruvians don't go to Dominican Republic and Dominicans don't go to Peru. You know what I'm saying? So my parents, there was no chance they would have met if they didn't both come to the United States as people who are not ethnically white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why? So how would I be a white nationalist? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. But I read that definition. Many of the proponents identify with and are attached to the concept of a white nation or a white ethnostate. See, so now what he's going to take is Devin saying he's proud of being white. He's proud of being from a white country. He's proud of the accomplishments that white people have done in white nations, which is fine. I'm proud of being Latino. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud that I don't, but meanwhile, I'm not espousing for this nation to be a Latino nation. I'm not espousing that. I think this nation should just be what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if like, to me personally, maybe people have a different view. For me, my view on this is I think the country should be what it is. People come here, it mixes. Sometimes we take the best of it. We try to get rid of the worst of it, and we try to like have the best, mixture of culture. I'm fine with that. That's what I like. I live in an 80% Hispanic city. Like, I live in a place that's not a white, area, There's white people here, yeah, but it's not, some white people even have problems finding jobs in my city because they don't speak Spanish, because a lot of the jobs here want people who speak Spanish. 80% Hispanic. They don't all speak Spanish. They're not all, just Spanish speakers. A lot of them speak both English and Spanish, especially since there's second, third generation Latinos here now. But in the end, they want people to speak Spanish because there's a lot of Spanish speakers here.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I love it. I love my city. I think it's great. And I often use this city as an example of how we can have a minority-led city that has low crime. You know what I'm saying? When people make the argument about, minority cities always have high crime, I give an example of not always. I agree. A lot, in a vast majority of cases, minority cities have high crime, but it's not always. And this is where the discussion gets interesting, because why don't we look at the ones where it does work and find out why it works? Why is this working
what
here?
Are they doing
why is this
differently?
minority city have low crime and these don't? Let's see what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, this is the definition. To you, Chris, you haven't even known Devin as long as I have. Do you think any of this fits what Devin says? When you watch his videos, do you feel like this is what Devin's doing?
No.
Do you feel he's espousing that white people are a race and seeks to develop and maintain a white racial and national identity? Do you feel like he does that?
No. doesn't really.
Do you
that
think he
doesn't
even
sound at
pushes
all
for
like him.
any kind of nationalism? Like, I don't even recall him ever pushing for any kind of nationalism, ever.
No,
Unless-
I hear him. I mean, I haven't heard him say any of that stuff. I hear him making jokes about it in videos.
Meanwhile,
but
I've
I
known
don't
him
hear
for a long time, you know, and I've talked to him all the time for a long time.
Like he spoke with that Richard Spencer guy, and that's somebody that I would maybe describe as a white nationalist. Maybe that's wrong, and if I am wrong, I would take that back. But that's who I would think of at first when I would read something
Look at
like
this
that.
funny semantics game. I wasn't looking at this, but I look over here at the comments, and I guess he left it a bit ago though. But he said, "I never said AIU needs to debate me. I never challenged him to a debate. You just make it up as you go, bro."
Lie. Three lies in one little comment there he made. He's been coming in Devin's chats like whenever he sees he's live streaming saying, "Debate me, bro."
He was like
Debate
typing
me.
in the chat as if it was the debate, like giving him debate
said that at the
answers.
end.
And I was like, "What are you doing, bro?" I remember telling him in Devin's stream, like, "Bro, this isn't a debate. What are you doing? Like, you're in here debating somebody who's editing his video. He's not even talking." And I heard him explain it and say, "Oh yeah, but he was like editing a video and reacting to something." But I was like, I don't think he realized that Devin was editing his audio of him reacting to something. He wasn't literally reacting to it live. He was editing something. And then after that, he started playing chess, right? And then that's when he reacted to this guy's video. Before that, though, he was just editing audio that he had made for a video. It wasn't literally him reacting to a video live.
And this is how this guy thinks he's got it all figured out.
Oops, showing the wrong thing. Let me play this.
Oh, sorry.
Nationalism is a type of nationalism or
he's reading out the
pan-nationalism,
definition now.
which espouses the belief that white people are a race and seeks to develop and maintain a white racial and national identity. Many of its proponents identify with and are attached to the concept
Devin's not a proponent of white nationalism.
nation.
Yeah.
They are attached to the concept of a white nation. They
And
think
how does that make him a
being
white nationalist?
is
He's
a
not
race.
attached. They think that being white is a
What?
race. No, he doesn't.
They
His
think it's like a
response
group of people.
is that other
That's
people
that's the
name
way
white
that they
people as a
think.
race,
All
and
right,
we all know
let's
what he
hear him
says when he
say
says white
this.
people, because everyone
Am I
uses
supposed
it
to
that
shy
way.
away? Is that like a call out? I'm not supposed to talk about white nations.
I'm not supposed to talk
but I
about
do.
white nations, but he does talk about white
Oh,
nations.
my sweet
Right.
child.
That doesn't make
I
him
do often.
just talking about white nations doesn't make you a white nationalist. Nowhere in the definition does it say talking about white nations.
I live in a
Yeah,
white nation. I'm
that's
from a
what
white
he
nation. White
is
nations
using
are
as
the
his
best
examples.
nations on earth.
Just talking about these
You want me to
groups.
say that again? White nations are the best nations on earth.
But white nations are the best nations on earth. That is
aside
true.
from Japan and Korea.
Aside from Japan and Korea, therefore proving he's not a white nationalist.
And potentially Singapore.
And potentially
But,
Singapore.
Yeah, I'm a fan of whites. I'm a fan of myself. I'm a fan of my family. I'm a fan of my people. I'm a fan of other people.
That's why I wrote in the chat. Yep, that one doesn't fit. Next one. So he plays the example, and I said, yes, he talks about white nations. Talking about white nations doesn't make you a white nationalist. If I talk about Asian nations, that doesn't make me an Asian nationalist. I talk about Peru sometimes. That doesn't make me a Peruvian nationalist. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird just because you talk about things and you're real about it. That's why he's saying I don't shy away. It's like you insult me. And remember, calling someone a white nationalist is an insult. So to Devin right now, he's listening to it and he's saying, oh, you insult me. So you're saying, basically, you think I'm going to shy away because you insult me by calling me a white nationalist is a way that you're telling me I can't talk about white nations? Like, oh, you're going to label me as this? Like, because of that? It's like if I talk about race and someone calls me a racist, right? It's like, what? You're going to call me a racist? You think I'm going to shy away from talking about race because you call me a racist? Like, tons of people have called me racist because of talking about race. Happens all the time. You see people call people racist constantly nowadays. Just brush it off. Talk about things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Talk about it anyway. Don't let people make you shy away from talking about things by giving you these extremist titles. Like, it's bullshit.
Let me go back to the first point. I'm a fan of my people.
Yeah, I'm a fan of my people. I'm a fan of my people too. I'm a
He
fan
says
of
my people,
Peruvians in
like
general.
white people
I love
are all
Peru.
one
Peru's
race,
great.
right?
Love it.
This is all one group. He
I
says
love to live in there.
my people. This is him being a white nationalist. This,
No,
by the
that is
definition I
not.
just
No,
read.
it's not.
Right.
Why?
Okay. Yeah.
Loving your nation loving being from a white nation makes you a white nationalist? How? Like, right? How does that work?
Yeah.
How does that work? We need an explanation of that. Let's go back to the definition. White nationalism is a type of nationalism. Again, he did not espouse any nationalism in general. He's talking about white nations. He's being truthful and honest and going by statistical facts of white nations, which espouses the belief that white people are a race. He doesn't espouse that. He answers to the term white people because people label it that. Everyone labels it that. This guy, if you say white people to this guy and he's not in a debate with you or playing this stupid semantics game, and say somebody comes up to this dude on the street and says, "Hey man, a white guy over there just attacked me." Do you think he's gonna go, I don't understand what a white person is. What do you mean? That's not a race. What is that? You know what I'm saying? He's not going to say that. He knows what the person means when that person's saying, hey, the white person attacked me. He knows what that means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when Devin says white people, white nations, we know what that means. You know, we all know what that means.
Attached
But
to
he
the
plays a game of it.
concept of a white nation.
Attached to the concept, but
being-
he's not attached to it. He's just remarking that white nations have done great. People will love to shit on white people, but never talk about the good of white people, right? Devin went over this video recently, right? If you remember, it was a video where I think it was like Jubilee or one of those fucking silly channels. But it was a video where they had a bunch of black people they were interviewing, and they asked them, what are white people superior at? That was the question. Let me ask you something. Do you think any of the black people being interviewed gave a positive, beneficial thing for white people and said, you know what, white people are good at this, or white people are superior, white people are better than us at this? Do you think they ever said any of those things in that whole video?
I would like to say yes, but I don't think so. I don't think they did it.
They all gave super negative things to say about white people. They all said, oh, you know, white people are superior at colonizing. White people are superior at having slaves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't think of one positive thing to say about white people. Meanwhile, if you go and to ask these people, hey, name some positive aspects of black people, these people are going to go with, oh, we got the best food, we make the best music, you know, oh, we tend to, you know, this is something Devin has said is good about black people that he likes. That a lot of times black people have a culture that they make the best out of a bad situation, and they can laugh about it. You know what I'm saying? Like black comedians will do that stuff. Well, they'll laugh about how poor they were and how bad situations were and laugh about it. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, he loves that about them. You know, he has black friends, you know, he loves black entertainers, and he loves when that about black people. That's a good thing. Now say that about white people. What good thing can you say about white people? What do you like about white people? You know what I'm saying? This is the problem, is that people don't look through the bullshit, and people want to label stuff certain things. And then when you do it, it's not cool. It means something else. When someone else says it, that's fine. When they do it for themselves, when, say, me as a Latino label myself as something, oh, Latino pride, I got Latino pride, you know, that's cool. That's fine. Nobody says shit about that. Nobody.
Yeah.
But now if we get a white person, they say
White pride.
Yeah, I'm proud of being white. That's a problem. That media is starting to show you now. Don't be proud of being white. White people are terrible. No, be proud of being white. White people did a lot of great things. White people created this nation that's fantastic, that my parents came to seek a better life. You know what I'm saying? And discovered love and had children they never would have had if they didn't come here. You know what I'm saying? And built a life for themselves they never would have built for themselves in their respective countries. You know, this place is awesome because of that. In fact, many countries are awesome because of white people. Sure, maybe it got there in bad ways, but you know, there's good and there's bad in every culture. There's good and there's bad that every race has done. Everybody has done. Everybody has good and bad things in their background. They try to make it seem like white people invented slavery. Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? 100% bullshit. Egyptians, ancient Egyptians had slavery way before white people had slavery, you know? Ancient civilizations, there were empires before white people even had empires. There were brown people that had empires that had slavery, you know? South Americans, my people, had slaves. My people had slaves. There were no white people there. They enslaved themselves. They enslaved other tribes that they didn't see as their own people. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to say, oh, white people came over and colonized them. Well, they were doing that to themselves as well. Don't make it seem like these guys were just, the Incans were living all peacefully, picking flowers and growing food, and then the white people came and destroyed them. No, there was centuries of blood and bloodshed and war with tribe and making them a part of them and saying, you're part of us now, we're going to enslave you, you're going to be part of there's a reason why the Incan Empire was the greatest empire in the Western Hemisphere. It is because they conquered so many other tribes and made them be part of them, just as the Roman Empire did, and they conquered tribes around them too. Let's see what else this guy has to say. But that was a lot of explanation. It makes sense.
And they think that this is like a group of people. That's the way that they
they think this is a group of people. White people are literally a group of people. They were made into a group by others, maybe by themselves or others. It doesn't matter. They're literally a group of people. White people isn't necessarily a race, but when we talk about race and we say white people, we understand what we're saying, right? Like if we're talking about race and I say white people and black people and we're talking about race, you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when Devin's saying white people built great nations, do you think he's literally saying white people are a certain race that's different from the other races? Or do you think he's saying what we all understand as being white people when we say white people?
Yeah.
Right? Like
No,
this is layman's terms. This
common sense.
Yeah, this is layman's terms. This is the problem, is this guy feels like this is a debate or something. Devin's not debating you. He's talking in layman's terms. When he's saying white people, you know what he's talking about. You say white people. Don't lie and say you don't say white people, right? Like, do you think this guy doesn't say white people? Obviously, he says white people. And he knows we know what he's saying when he says white people. We know he's not saying there's literally a race that's in the human race called white people. Like, come on, man. Black people literally say they are a race too. Like, how does that make them what black nationalists?
I'm not supposed to talk about white
I'm
nations.
just
I'm not
talking
supposed
about
to talk
this.
about
She's
white
right.
nations. See, I'm not supposed to talk about white nations. What he's saying is you're calling him a white nationalist as an insult. And he's saying, I'm not going to back down from being honest and speaking honestly about race and speaking honestly about these things because you decided to come insult me and call me a white nationalist. He's not saying, I'm not going to back down from being a white nationalist. That's not what he's saying. He's saying you coming here. It's like saying, if we're talking about race and you come and call me a Nazi and I go, I'm not going to back down because you call me a Nazi. I'm not going to back down talking about race honestly because you called me a Nazi. Does that sound like I'm literally saying that, oh yeah, I'm a Nazi and I'm not going to back down from it, right? That's not what he's saying.
How
it's
you
obvious.
How you just said it is exactly how I interpreted that. So
exactly.
How he came to this like weird conclusion is really just odd.
How does that not make sense, right? Doesn't that make perfect sense?
Yeah.
Wow. And he took it as Devin saying, I'm not going to back down from being a white nationalist because you came here and called me a white nationalist. Does that even make sense? You called me a term and I'm not going to sit here and back down from it. Does that sound like it makes sense if he actually agrees with the term you're saying? It's obvious. This is where I say this guy doesn't have comprehension. Like, he doesn't understand tone and what Devin's saying. This is why he didn't get Devin's joke or how Devin jokes, because he doesn't understand tone. Like, it's weird. Like right now,
it's like when people argue saying like all lives matter, and they're like, "Oh, that's racist to say," or something like that, or whatever. It's like, well, I'm not going to stop saying that because all lives do matter.
Yeah, just because you come in here and try to insult, oh, then you're a racist. It's like, well, oh, you think I'm going to back down from thinking all lives matter because you're calling me a racist? Like, what?
Sweet child, I do often. I live in a white nation. I'm from a white nation. White nations are the best nations on earth.
That is true.
Do you want me to say that again? White nations are the best nations on earth.
And I bet this guy would agree with it. If he looked it up and looked up best quality of life, he would find that. I was talking about this the other day. PragerU, I constantly dunk on PragerU. PragerU comes out and talks about how, America is sick. We spend this much money in healthcare and America is sick and getting sicker, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are these people fucking serious? we're the best nation in the world when it comes to medicine. What is the talking about? Our cancer survival rates are better than, like, leaps ahead of other nations. You know what I'm saying? Leaps ahead. You look up top 10 cancer hospitals in the world, and all top 10 will be in the US. You know what I'm saying? Not one will be in another country. The entire top 10 list will be in the US. Now, unless it's a list that they're only going to show you one from each country. But if they're going to show you like the top 10 out of anyone, it could be multiples per country, you're going to get all of them in the US. We have the lowest like infant mortality rates and shit like that. Like, dude, we do great. You know, why can't I say that though? You know what I'm saying? Oh, but our healthcare system sucks. Yeah, that's true, but that's not to say. Or maybe these guys don't like paying for healthcare because that's the conservative people saying that. That's not to say that we don't have the best care for people in the world. We certainly do, for sure.
Aside from Japan and Korea.
And then aside from Japan and Korea.
Potentially Singapore.
And potentially Singapore. Literally telling you he's not a white nationalist right there. Saying that there's countries better than white nations already tells you that he's not a white nationalist. You can't possibly think there are better nations than white nations and be a white nationalist.
Yeah, I don't know how he like missed that part.
On top of Devin living in nations that aren't white nations and loving living there, you know, and liking living.
White people, I'm a fan of white people too. But
yeah, he just said, again, I'm a fan of white people, but I'm a fan of black people too, he just said. You know?
Like
but that doesn't matter.
Devin said.
That doesn't matter that he said that. Right? Let's ignore that. But I'm a fan of my people. Yes. Yes,
He
just
says my
as in response to how black people say my people. Why can black people say my people and white people can't? I say that too. I say, when I talk about Latinos and we're talking about crime, I say my people commit a lot of crime too. You know what I'm saying? And I would sit here and say, hey, my people, stop committing crimes. Even though I do differentiate by nation as well. Like, I don't consider myself the same as a Mexican. But I do recognize that people view Hispanics as a group, and that that's a group of people that's recognized by people, by Latinos themselves and by others. I recognize that and I understand. So when I say my people, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Hispanics. You know, people considered as part of the group that I am. You know, it could be brown people. You know,
like white people are all one race, right?
Yeah,
This is all one.
He's
group.
adding that, Devin. They say one group. A group is not a race. You know what I'm saying? You could be a group and not be a race. Italians are a group. Catholics are a group. You know what I'm saying? We do other groups of humans, like Chinese people are a group. The Han people are a group. You know, that doesn't mean to say a race. Like, it doesn't mean that. He's making that up. He's adding that in there. Oh, it's a race. It's a group. Those are different things. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Like, a group isn't always by race. Like, we do have different demographics.
People. This is
my people. A white nationalist isn't somebody who just says my people or views white people as a group. That's not. You're taking the first part of that sentence. Remember, we went back. He's taking just the first part of that sentence and using that definition now. Is a type of nationalism which espouses the belief that white people are a race, and he's cutting out the and part now. Realize this. Realize that he's saying, even though Devin's not saying this, but this is what he's saying. He's saying Devin's acknowledging white people are a group and talking about white people as a group, as his group. That means he's a white nationalist. Even by that, even if he were right on that, that still doesn't fit this definition. This definition is a type of nationalism which espouses the belief that white people are a race and seeks to develop and maintain white racial and national identity. Period. It's not or. It didn't say white people are a race or seeks to develop. That's not the definition. It's white people are a race and seeks to develop nations, maintain nations based on race being a national identity. This is what they're telling you in this definition. It's you advocating or espousing the belief that white nations should remain white nations, that the national identity of a country should be that it is white. He's not that. Nowhere there does Devin say that, right?
No.
This is the problem where I say comprehension. You see, now he read the definition. Now we're a few minutes removed and he's already forgot the definition. And he's only using the part before and. Now,
Yeah.
he's wrong on that too. I promise you he's wrong on that too. But that's what he's doing at this moment and not realizing it. And this is where I wrote in the chat. If you look right here, I wrote develop or maintain. Where's that part of what he's saying? Where did he say that? You know? And he doesn't, he never responds to that. Totally ridiculous. That
I
he
never
just
said
skips a
he
part.
needs to debate me about being
It's a weird like
racist.
fixation
Again,
on
that's a
something
joke.
that he didn't even say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you guys understand sarcasm. Listen,
Wait, he just played that
there's a-
part. Now I missed it. I went too far ahead.
to do it.
But we heard the part then already.
That's never happened.
That
in
doesn't
my
work.
life.
I proved
like,
you wrong. Okay, here's where it comes up.
attached to the concept
Go.
of a white
One at a
nation.
time. Go. Oh, wait. Yeah, see, there's what I say in the chat. Damn, that's really quick. Rex
Says
boom.
my people.
Hold on. Okay, let's
white
go one at a
nationalism
time, right?
Is a type of nationalism or
I want to skip
pan-nationalism,
forward,
which
but
espouses
it's
belief
the
that
video's
white
so long
people
that I just
are
skip
a
forward
race
a tiny
and seeks to
centimeter and it
develop
goes
and
like
maintain
5-10
a white
minutes ahead.
racial
What the
and
fuck?
national identity. Many of its proponents
Oh, I could do
identity
this. 10 seconds skip.
is a
We get this.
Oh, but am I supposed to shy away? Is that like a call out?
I
I'm not
explained all
supposed
this.
to talk about white nations. Oh, but I
Yeah,
do.
why can't he talk about white nations?
Oh, my sweet child. I do.
It makes him a white
often.
nationalist?
I
That's
live in
kind
a
of the
white
point.
nation. I'm from a white nation. White nations are the best nations on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to say that again? White nations are the best nations on earth,
Undisputed. It's
aside
100%
from
true.
Japan and Korea, and potentially Singapore. But yeah, I'm a fan of whites. I'm a fan of myself. I'm a fan of my family. I'm a fan of my people. I'm
Yeah.
a fan of other people too.
I'm a fan of other people
Let me
too.
go back to the first point. I'm a fan of my people.
And Devin literally has things to be proud of in his history. Like his grandfather discovered African tribal music, lived with the Zulus in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
And then spread it and made a school for it to teach people that in South Africa. There's literally a school of music in South Africa named after Devin's grandfather. Devin's father and his uncle were musicians and toured the world playing African music and spreading African music around the world. You know what I'm saying? Toured the world spreading African music. Like this, there's a long history to be proud of there.
Yeah.
my
And
people.
he
it's
doesn't
fine.
even know any of that.
And there's
'cause
not
it's
a
still
problem with
just-
that. You know what I'm saying? Black people hadn't done that at the time. They hadn't been able to spread their music around the world. So this guy came and did that and gave them credit for it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he stole it, but he gave them credit for it. He was like, look, this is the music from this tribe. I want to record these because sometimes these tribes disappear. Other tribes take them out, or maybe like people come and industrialize an area and they don't have a home anymore. And, people die out, tribes die out, and their music and history goes with them. You know what I'm saying? And nobody will ever know.
Yeah.
So what he did is go out there and recorded the music of these tribes and learned about it, and taught it around the world. Made a record of it. It's fucking great. That's something to be proud of. Why can't he be
He
proud
says,
of that?
my people, like white people are all one race, right? This is all one.
It's really all he's
He says,
asking,
my
it seems.
people.
He
This
says my
is
people.
him being a white nationalist.
Do black people say my people all the time? And then this guy says that's a black nationalist, but it's not. It's not. Totally 100% isn't.
This by
You
the
just
definition
read
I
the
just
definition.
read.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Ah!
Yeah. Here,
No, it is
Sats,
funny.
just go ahead and
It
ban
is.
all these people.
Yeah, see,
They're-
bam. I said boom, wrecked. No, he said except for
I got
Japan
better
and
things to
Korea.
do. They're not gonna.
Yeah.
Boom,
They're so
wrecked.
bad faith.
He
No,
they
ignored
can't
that.
listen,
even
Tom.
recognize,
And then he
like,
says to,
yeah.
and we're the ones who are bad faith. Literally, the video he just watched disproves him. I'm telling him that in the chat. I said, where does Devin espouse seeking, developing, and maintaining? Completely ignores that. He still sticks to the definition that all it means is saying white people are a white race. That's all that means. That's all white nationalism means, is white people are a race. See? Did you forget the and what came after the and? Like, it didn't say or. Learn how to read definitions. And I said, yeah, he talks about white nations, except for Japan and Korea. Boom, wrecked. No, listen, Tom. And I was going to explain it there. And I was going to explain it there really well, that you can't be a white nationalist and agree that other races do have better nations than you. The point of a white nationalist is to say that a white nation is better than all other nations and will always be better on virtue of it being white. That's what they're saying. Devin's not even saying white nations are the best on the virtue of the race. He's not even saying that. He's just saying that is the truth. You know what I'm saying? And you know how you know he's saying that is the truth? Because he's saying that Japan and Korea are even better. And you know what that means? That his value of what makes a nation great is not the people. It's not the race. Because if it was, then Japan and Korea couldn't be better, possibly, because they're not white. So he's not a white nationalist. He doesn't espouse that white nations are better or that we should maintain white nations. That's not what's going on here. And that's why I'm saying, this is why I say he's wrong, but he doesn't understand that he's wrong on that. Which is utterly ridiculous. Like, how do you not understand that? I don't get it.
Yeah. It's weird to
but there you
interpret
go.
It that
way. That was explained, and I thought I did a pretty good job explaining. Anybody disagree with that, or think that, or to add to that definition? Because I think the explanation I gave of that was fantastic and dead on. A bit long-winded, of course, but I had a lot to say, so it's all good.
Learn debates from that guy. Oh my god. Can you imagine?
Yeah, and then meanwhile, that guy thinks people are gonna debate him. Like, why would anybody debate him? He doesn't even know what white supremacist is. What means, or white nationalist, sorry. He doesn't even know what a white nationalist is.
He runs with sarcasm as like something real being said, like seriously being said, when it's sarcasm.
He literally read the definition and then went to go match it to the video and failed. Right? And then only kept half of the definition in his failure. That was his failure, was that he kept only half the definition. And said, see, he says white people are a race. There you go. Yeah, we understand what we're saying when we say white people. We get that. That's not literally what you're saying. Like, you're off there, bro.
And then to try and say he's not saying these things and just things are being made up about him.
We just
watched
it.
The Brenton
we just
person. That guy who went after Sean, that Brenton person, calling Sean a propagandist and all that stuff. Meanwhile, this guy says he does performance art. He calls his propaganda performance art.
Performance art. It's ridiculous. I remember Destiny. This guy goes on Destiny. What's his name? Brenton. He goes on Destiny's thing to bitch about this, right? And he was like, "Oh, can you believe it? I need some advice. Like, I don't know what to do. Can you believe it? I go on a stream. I call this guy a Nazi on the stream. He wasn't there. We were just talking about him, and I just, called him a Nazi on the stream, even though he wasn't there. I don't really know him very well. I don't know his work very well. I may have been wrong," he says, right? Like, he was like, I may have been wrong. But, I call him a Nazi, and then he comes at me on Twitter, and he's upset. And I'm like, what? And I tell him he should have to debate me. He should have to. Why don't we come on a neutral stream like modern day debates, and we could debate. And he doesn't want to. And he's saying it like he's surprised that Sean doesn't want to debate some guy who just randomly called him a Nazi on a stream. Like, huh? And then,
like, who are
Destiny
you?
doesn't say anything there. But there's another time Destiny goes to go talk to Dick Masterson on a show. I forget what the show's called, but Dick Masterson leads it and like two other people. And and he says, and he tells the story. And Destiny's like, yeah, so, this guy comes on my stream the other day. And he tells me he calls some guy a Nazi on a stream. And then is upset that the guy won't come debate him. And I'm like, well, duh. Like, basically, you insult the dude and then you think he's going to come, debate you? Like, what? Like, it's ridiculous.
How out of touch with reality.
Yeah, how out of touch with reality.
You see the confusion on their faces afterwards. Like,
Like you don't
You don't
really
agree with
don't
me?
understand why people wouldn't want to debate you after you've insulted them publicly? Like, huh? It's a little odd.
That must expose how easy those people are to like make a fool out of themselves. Because accuse him of those people of anything, they'd be like, "Oh, now I've gotta say something to clear my name
Yeah.
now." And like,
Oh, but it's a total lack of self-awareness for sure. Like they don't realize they're making asses of themselves.
it's true, yeah.
This guy Sleepy Bush said, "Brenton, you took everything from me." Sean's like, "I don't even know who you are." Like, yeah, that was basically how it went. And he's like, "What? I debate you? Like, what? You called me a Nazi on a stream, so I make a video about it. You know, like laughing at you for calling me that. And now that means I should come
Proof
debate
that guy
you?
had.
Like,
Oh, such silly proof. Like just having conversations with people that could have like opinions that are really wrong or like different from theirs. That's the proof.
He
Like,
also kind of did a lot of
I don't
the
think it
same
works
thing
that
this
way.
guy did. This is what I'm talking about, the internet culture. Like this guy did the kind of the same thing too, where he's like, "Oh, but I apologized for calling him a rapist and a pedophile. I was joking, you know."
Who cares?
But he's still a white nationalist. What?
Yeah.
You know, this
Double
is
down
like
on that,
this
yeah.
is what that Brenton guy did. All right, all right, maybe you're not alt-right or Nazi, or sorry, but you're still a propagandist, right? Oh,
That's
why are you
like-
offended by that? And then asked Sean, "Why are you offended, huh? Why are you offended by that? Why do you think
Such
he's
a
offended
backhanded
by that?
apology.
Yeah.
Like,
Why do you think?
why even
bro?
bother?
Like, are you for real? Or do you really exist? Like, do you exist in this reality? Do you understand how social interactions work? Like, it feels like they don't. Like, some of them don't understand how social interactions work. And this is where I talk about this internet culture. Like, you don't act like this in real life. Like, nobody's gonna talk to you in the supermarket. A stranger's gonna talk to you and talk to you like this. It wouldn't happen. You know?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying this is why this stuff is so funny to me. Like,
No.
and then he's like, I guess I'm built different. Yeah, you're built different.
You
I'm not the
are
kind of
built
person
different.
who insults people on the internet and then says that they should debate them and call them a coward for not debating them. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Nor am I such a person of low self-esteem that I feel like I have to go on somebody's fucking stream to defend myself or something. Like, yeah, come in and debate me. Like, no. I'm not. I don't have this thing that I feel like I have to prove anything or I need to go on your stream and have a fight with you over something. Like, huh?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit, bro. I give a shit about as much as I do to have fun on a stream talking about it with my friends, you know,
Yeah,
and
it's
laugh
way
about
more
it.
fun.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Let me laugh about this. It's funny. It's funny the way people act. That's why I'm saying this stream itself was just for me to use it as an example to talk about how people act about this. Like, it's so weird to me that this is how people socially interact on the internet. It's like, what? Like, what a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to see people like just run with something so wrong so many times.
And
It
then
happens
double,
so often.
triple, quadruple down on it. Like, bro, this guy literally looked up the definition and still got it wrong with the definition in his face. I just showed
Yeah.
everybody that. We all just watched that. Him get the definition wrong with the definition in his face. And then fit it into what Devin was saying by cutting out half of the definition.
Yeah.
Like, what? Huh? What just happened?
Why you do this?
Yeah, why you do this? Why you do this? And then be surprised if people are saying that you're acting in bad faith. Like, dude, it's literally in your face that you're doing something wrong. Like, and you don't even notice. It's
Another
ridiculous.
one of those people that couldn't possibly be wrong. Couldn't possibly like give them any like benefit of the doubt that they could maybe be really inaccurate, really out of line with what they're saying. It's got to be their way.
That's what I'm saying. People do this all the time. Like I said, people call Sean things all the time. They double down on it. No matter what you tell them, they don't change their minds on that. And they always
And
will.
this
And
guy
it's
thinks
useless to go debate them because they're never going to change their mind on that. You talking to them
Yeah.
isn't going to change their mind on it.
Like, I feel like this guy thinks that he's being slick to say like, "Oh, I'm not saying that now," but like he is saying that because it's up to like someone like Devin or us to prove that that's an inaccurate claim, and it's up to him to decide what's enough proof. Do you know what I'm saying? Like what is said, what could be said in order for him to be like, all right, you're like, I was out of line, sorry about that. I don't feel like there's ever going to be something enough to be like, to bring him to that conclusion, or any of those people to a conclusion like that, because they're just that close-minded and insisting on being right all the time.
That's the thing. Like I don't think this guy has that, but like with a lot of these people, like Vosh and them, and these bread tube guys like the serfs, like they can never admit they're wrong because they have like this optics problem. Like they don't, if they feel like if people see that they're wrong, then they're gonna think the entire left is wrong. Like, you know, it's like, and they're gonna veer people towards fascism. Like if that's how it works, like things don't work that way. They think that they're being advocates, and they think they're activists that are literally pulling people away from fascism, and that's how they act. We saw the debate between, well, maybe not the debate, but we saw the argument that Destiny and Vosh had, where Vosh was literally defending putting out misleading content and false information, that would be okay under the pretext that you're pulling people away from fascism. So he doesn't debate for the sake of finding the truth. You know, that's not what he's doing. He doesn't care about it. His point to debate is to pull people away from being fascist by any means necessary, even if he's got to completely lie in order to do it, or give you misinformation, or bend the truth. You know,
like Lance does that, the serfs,
which, you know, they do all the time. Yeah, I mean, TYT does this. They extract information. You know, like they tell you something and they're like, oh yeah, this is what happened, but they're missing things. They're literally extracting parts of the information to feed you a narrative. You know, and that's what these people will do. Like if you're in a debate with them, they're more than willing to lie and use these use shitty tactics to get away with the, you know, not losing or not saying, all right, I was wrong. You know.
Yeah.
Look at when the serfs debated JF. We watched that. At no point did the serfs like even admit how off he was in that situation. He didn't even know, like he didn't know what he was talking about. How you're gonna debate a guy who is like a genetic biologist who studied this, who has done experiments in this thing, and you're gonna debate him on something to do with his expertise? Like the serfs, that's some Dunning-Kruger shit, like straight up. Like the serfs thought he could debate and argue about genetic stuff, about genetics, like with a geneticist. Like, huh?
And like under credit what JF did with teaching monkeys how to play video games. Like that's not impressive. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, he almost came out with that like a joke, like it was making fun of him. He taught monkeys how to do it, and everybody was like, that's pretty cool. That's easy. like yeah, I don't think that's something to laugh at. That's pretty cool. Like that's an awesome feat that he's accomplished. Like,
I'm just getting into some video games, and that shit is hard and complicated. The fact that you can teach a monkey to do that's impressive to me.
Imagine laughing at the people who taught an ape how to sign language. Imagine laughing at those. Hey, he taught this guy. This guy taught a gorilla how to do sign language. Ha! You know, like what? Like get real, bro. Like, be realistic. Just because you don't like the guy doesn't mean you can't congratulate him or be like, dude, you accomplished something good, even though I don't like your ideas. You know. But that's these people. They are very antagonistic. They're very uncharitable. You know, we've seen Vosh, we've seen serfs. I wanted to go over at some point on this channel Sean debating these people, because I think there's a lot of good examples in there of that, like of when he debated Vosh is like that debate's a good example of how they can't admit when they're on the ropes. You know what I'm saying? Like Sean started busting Vosh. This happened like 3 times throughout the debate. There'll be parts where he's like busting Vosh and really winning that topic of debate, and then Vosh will stop it and go, yeah, you know, because it's been a while, and he's like, oh yeah, I think we're not going to come to an agreement on this, and we're gonna, you know, this is just gonna go in circles. So let's move on to the next topic. And Sean's like, but I just gave you a really good argument, but all right, you know, like we'll move on to the next topic, whatever, you know. The serfs did that too. I feel like the serfs did this part on purpose. I could be wrong, but I feel like he did this on purpose. I think he wanted to talk to Sean ahead of time and did this. He had Sean come on his stream for about 25 minutes. And this was like a pre-debate thing. They were like, we're going to debate. Why, later this week, we set up the date. Why don't you come on and we'll discuss like what we're going to debate, right?
Yeah.
But what did he do? When Sean comes to talk to him, what does he do? He ends up like kind of pulling Sean into a debate to try to get to understand what Sean's going to use that topic. And then he starts trying to lead Sean. And he starts trying to lead Sean into a corner. And I notice it. I'm watching this and I totally notice, oh, he's not in here to debate Sean. He's not in here to talk about what topics they're gonna cover. What he's in here for is to get a gotcha. He's trying to lead Sean into a gotcha, and that's the point. And he's trying to lead him into a gotcha to say, "Bam, you're a racist." You know what I'm saying? But it's not working, right? He keeps trying to lead Sean into different corners, and it's not working. And then eventually he gets Sean down to, he keeps asking Sean, like, why do black people commit more crime? Why? And Sean's like, I don't know. I'm not, that's not my area of expertise. He does criminal justice. He knows criminal stats. His area of expertise isn't the psychology of cultures and shit, like, so it's weird to even say that, but he keeps pushing him towards it. So Sean starts coming up with multiple things, and he's like, oh, there's many factors to this. There's fatherlessness, there's poverty, there's this and that. There's black people wear less condoms in a sense that they get pregnant more. Like there's more teen pregnancies than black people, so they're not wearing condoms when they're young, basically. But he didn't feel like he had to say that. It's pretty broad. So serfs, that's what he zeroes in on. He completely forgets that Sean mentioned multiple things. Zeroes in on this one thing and says, condoms, they don't wear condoms. He makes a face like, oh, I can't believe he just said that. Remember, he makes this face, oh my god, did he just say black people don't wear condoms? That's it, that's the gotcha. And that's what he took as his gotcha. So when the debate came, he never let that go. That was his big thing, and the entire debate was him trying to say that. Meanwhile, showing Sean a study for black people saying that they wear condoms less, it was for black men who don't get pregnant. Men don't get pregnant. When the same test is asked of women, it's a totally different stat we see. And we see that they wear condoms way less. So obviously, we're talking about teen pregnancies of girls getting pregnant as teenagers. And why there's fatherlessness in that as well. Like, people aren't understanding that. And he wasn't understanding that. And he still doesn't. And to this day, thinks that his stat busts the serfs. And to this day, he thinks that his gay male stat, that gay black men wear condoms more than any other race of people. He thinks that is a dunk on Sean saying that black people have more kids out of wedlock as teenagers because they wear condoms less. But he doesn't understand that concept. He doesn't get it. And he still uses that. To this day, he makes a joke of it. He calls it condom theory, which is ridiculous. Oh, yeah, condom theory. Oh, my God. And still shows that stat, thinking that stat debunks Sean. And it's like, dude, you've seen Sean's stat that shows you they're asking women how often men use condoms with them. And you're getting a totally different number that shows a high rate of not using it.
I think
as well as other ones. And Sean's also shows other forms of contraceptions too, and shows that they use them less, like birth control and like all other different kinds of contraceptions. They show, I think, 3 different kinds to show the ratings, and they actually use them way less, which still furthers to prove Sean's point that black people are having teen pregnancies more.
But
he asks why,
like
but
races or something.
It's not for us to say why. You know what I'm saying? That's not for us to say. I'm not in that community. You can ask me why the Hispanic community commits crimes. You know what I'll tell you? I don't know, but I wish they wouldn't. I wish my people wouldn't commit these crimes. I wish they wouldn't create a high disproportionate amount of crime. And nothing they say will excuse that. I don't think it's excusable that my people are doing that. I don't find that excusable to say anything they say about it, I don't find that those excuses to be legitimate. I'm like, no, don't commit crimes. There's better ways to solve your problems. There's better life decisions to make. This is the problem, is that certain cultures and certain peoples are probably making the bad decisions. Why are they making bad decisions? We don't know. We need somebody to study that. But nobody's going to study these things and try to figure these things out if people aren't accepting of what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? We live in a society that glorifies certain cultures, and I'm not even going to say just black people. We live in a society, and the U.S. glorifies violent culture. It always has. When I was younger, and the generation before me, it was all cowboys and Indian shit. It's all being outlawed. Jesse James, Jesse James, historic figure. Everybody knows who Jesse James is. Jesse James was an outlaw. He was a criminal. You know what I'm saying? We glorify these things. We do it all the time. Scarface comes
Cops
out.
and robbers.
When I grew up, it was Scarface. All the kids on my block said, "Man, Tony Montana, hey, you filthy cockroach," and we all used to make those fucking things. Kids on my street used to say, "Man, when I grew up, I want to be Scarface," blah, blah, blah. That was what everybody wanted to be. Goodfellas. I had a lot of friends who were like, "Man, I love Goodfellas," and looked up to these people, to the gangster.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they just found it as fun entertainment that they enjoyed. They literally looked up to these people and wanted to live in those ways. Like, they glorified mob lifestyle,
Yeah.
That's why I say we live in a
YouTuber
culture
that
of
was
violence.
talking about that.
We live in a culture that glorifies violence. This is true. When people say this is true, I'm not against violent media and stuff like that. I'm not saying to censor things. But this is true that we do live in a culture that glorifies violence. We do. There's no doubt about it. The gangsta lifestyle was glorified for a long time. I think it's a little less now. But in the 90s, when I was growing up, gangsta shit was super popular and everybody wanted to be. We would have, like, I literally grew up in the ghetto, but we used to have people from the suburbs come down to where we are and pretend to be ghetto. You know what I'm saying? And we laugh at them. That's where we came out, homo thug. That's what homo thug means. It's a wannabe thug. It's like, look at this homo thug. Like, this guy thinks he's a thug and shit. Little with his pants all draggy, like thinking that's how you're supposed to wear. Like, yeah, we wear our pants droopy, but not like that. Like, like they do it wrong and shit. They don't even get it. Like, you could just tell that they're just pretending, that they're posers. I used to do this too when I was... I've always been into punk rock too, and when I used to hang out with my punk friends, it was the same thing. People would come in and pretend to be punk, and we call them posers. It's like, dude, you were listening to fucking...
Plan.
You were listening to Cyndi Lauper last week. now you're coming over here telling me you're a Dead Kennedys fan? No, you're not. You're not. You just
listening to Simple Plan.
Yeah. Oh, you listen to Green Day, so you're a punk? That's cute. Like, that's real cute. Like, you dyed your hair green and you wore bondage pants. That means you're punk now. I see.
Yeah. You did it.
Yeah,
that's totally it.
There's posers everywhere.
Can you even name the songs in the band at all?
But for sure, American culture glorifies violence. It's our thing. I'm into it too. I love violence. I love not just American violence. I love kung fu movies. I grew up to 70s Chinese kung fu and stuff. Oh yeah, Misfits. I'm from Jersey, bro. Of course, Misfits punk. Of course. Well, Misfits were punk with Danzig. After that, they changed. I mean, when Danzig left, he became more metal or hard rock, if you want to put it that way, because it's not like super metal or anything, but it's metal-y, hard rock, metal-like. And then the Misfits kind of took that turn too. They kind of mixed the both. But even in the last Misfits album before Danzig left, they were going towards a metal direction. So Misfits without Danzig, and they had Michael Graves and some other singers, would be the same thing. They would, some songs would be metal-like or hard rock, and then other songs would be more punky, more like pop punk kind of stuff. But what was I talking about before that? Damn, you threw me off with that Misfit stuff. No.
Oh, what was it? The, fascination with, crime and violence.
Oh, yeah, but we live in a violent culture. I love it, too. I mean, we all love action movies and violent films and stuff like that, of course. It's very common. And it's fun. You know what I'm saying? It's enjoyable. But the thing is, we do glorify it. I mean, I grew up with guns and shooting people and beating people up. We love combat sports, right? We watch that shit all the time. There's nothing
Yeah.
better than watching two dudes beat the shit out of each other. I fucking love it.
The shoulders.
Or women. I'm sorry. I love women MMA too. Like I fucking, you see me. Sometimes I start liking the women ones more than the men ones. Like,
Yeah, sometimes they're really like
Yeah.
more entertaining times too.
so the strategies end up sometimes are different between men and women, and it's fun to see like these different strategies that. Like for me, watching combat sports isn't just like I like to watch people beat the shit out of each other. Like I've watched it long enough that I love the strategies and techniques as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so watching somebody, like when people come in and they're very unique fighters and I find them to be like very smart fighters, I love that. Like that's something I enjoy very much. So you see the women do that too a lot, and they work differently and it works really well. It's fun.
Yeah, I like watching the shoulders a lot, but sometimes
catch
like
the shou-
seeing people get out of the movements and stuff like that, or the
Mhm.
holds, like that's really impressive. Like people, that one guy, what was that guy? He kicked, the guy grabbed his leg and then he did like a spin kick and nailed
Oh
the
yeah, I
guy
remember
out.
that guy. I
Remember
forgot
that
his
guy?
name,
That
but
move?
yeah, I remember that dude.
I can't remember. Yeah,
He's been
but that
losing
one was,
now,
oh
but
my
he
God.
that was a highlight reel for a bit, and then he started losing after that.
Yeah.
That was a
That
good one.
that move was like, holy
move was
crap! You
great,
just
yeah.
pulled that out of nowhere. Like, where did that
Yeah,
come
so it
from?
happens when you catch a leg and you stare at the dude after that. Like, instead of doing anything. That's basically what happened. Like, he grabbed the dude's leg and didn't react in time
Just
before this
stood
guy
there.
could
Yeah,
spin
that's
around and
right.
kick him right in the mouth,
Yeah.
holding the other leg, you know.
Her bodies, but Valerie Loretta, although she didn't win that match, but like she was flipping around trying to get out of
She
those
was doing
holds.
well,
Like,
though.
holy crap!
Yeah, she was doing
Like
well. She's still
crazy.
new, though. I mean, she's still a young girl, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was only like her 4th match. Like, she's got time to get better, and she will. She's got a lot of potential. But yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun to watch violence. We get it. But it doesn't mean you gotta be violent. This is the thing is,
No.
I'm totally anti-violent. I'm not a very violent person. I don't mind fighting people. Like, I'm not scared to fight because I grew up fighting, so I'm not scared to fight. I think a lot of people are. But the thing is, violence is fun, and this country is certainly a country that glorifies that. Like, how long was gangsta rap popular? And until today,
Yeah.
it's still highly glorified and still a very popular form of music. It's not as bad as it used to be. We do have other rap now that isn't just that. Like, where back in the day it would just be that, you know. I remember, I'm older, so I remember like the beginnings of hip hop and how it changed. When I grew up in the '80s, hip hop wasn't about violence. Like, it was usually about good stuff. Like, you know, fixing your community and, you know, being proud of who you are and stuff like that, which is perfectly fine. And then it was, you know, the 90s came, and all of a sudden gangster raps that are getting really popular. I mean, you had NWA. I think that's really what kicked it off. They were like one of the earliest ones, but they were the only ones for a bit. And then all of a sudden, you know, all these other ones started popping up, and that became like the most popular form of this gangster. You know.
I think when I was in school, it was more like that, but also like making lots of money, getting flashy, like bling all over the place and stuff like that. That type of rap,
that was
music,
a big
whatever.
thing too, which is also
Being
bad.
more showy. Yeah.
Which is also giving a bad thing, and a good reason why possibly people in certain neighborhoods and certain communities are shit at holding on to money, because they're watching these people who gloat about money and show this thing as a status, and now they want to have that status, right? Like,
Yeah.
they want to be like, yeah, I want this expensive rings and I want this expensive car. I want to look like these rappers, you know, even though they don't make nearly as much as these people. These people are rich, showing off their richness and then making you want to look like you're rich too when you're not. You know, I have many friends of many races that do this. Like, I've told you about my friend who, like, when I was younger, who like didn't have money to pay rent, but he just bought a new TV, and I'd be like, dude, you just bought this super expensive, huge TV, like, and then you're telling me that the landlord's calling you like crazy, and you're ducking him because you don't have the money for the rent, like, but you're showing off this brand new TV you just bought, like.
Yeah, I don't. That's so.
Like, come
I
on,
don't
dude.
get that.
But people do that, man. Some people are not good with the money. Like, that's it's something to address. All right, but I think we've been talking long enough. I think we had an interesting stream. I thought it was fun. I think we answered the things we needed to. This guy was talking about, show the clip, and I showed the clip, and I think I explained it pretty well how he misunderstood it. I think we understand that he wasn't even using the full definition. We just saw that. So, yeah, pretty useless. It was fun talking about stuff, though, and talking about how the internet culture stuff is.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Maybe next time,
enjoyed this.
sometime next week, if we have time, we'll figure out a day to go over the surf
Sure.
stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun. All right.